I saw Eden's message, so I didn't know that. It's pretty early for me, but I appreciate you guys making this happen. Most of you, we know each other in the last 3 years with what's happened to our family in Tigray. I just got back from Tigray, actually. I had a glimpse look of what we had imagined for the last 3 years. So I am looking forward to hear, what everybody has to input today and see what we can do today and tomorrow for the final push. So although it's pretty early in the West Coast, so I am looking forward to participate with you guys and see what we can do, as all of you have just indicated as an introduction. But we're the advocates in the West Coast, as most of you know. I have been participating from day one, including with a lot of our media that I see also that participate in with Cyber Power Tigray media that we try to push with you guys, but I also see TMH and the UMD media. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Miki Hauna. Has everybody gone? Sarah, yeah? Thank you. I want to share with you how today's session will be going. And as Miki said, and thank you, Miki, for representing those waking up on the West Coast and just realizing what's going on, and we'll be doing this with us. And as Edu said, we hope it's in the thousands, and as Mazi said as well. This is being live streamed by Cyber Power, as you mentioned, as well as TMH, as well as UMD media. So this is how we're reaching you. And of course, as we know, due to the way people who are against ICRI, people who are against justice and accountability in Tigray tend to work, we could not have let you know in advance what this was going to be, but you may have seen this flyer. Obviously, this will be a call banking to extend UN-mandated ICRI. And as Asawa mentioned, how this will work is we will provide a script, meaning what you can say to member states, as we call embassies of United Nations member states. You will see two embassy phone numbers on your screen. It is our hope that you will begin with one. It could be either one. If there's an extension, the extension will be put here. You dial the extension, you can read the script, or you can just riff it from your heart. If you end up just going from your heart, which is either is perfectly fine, what you want to lead with is, hello, my name is so-and-so. I'm calling to bring your awareness to the need for the extension of UN-mandated ICRI, just to have those buzzwords so that the person who's picking up the phone understands. And if you need to be transferred, if somebody's on break and they need to transfer you to someone else, they know at least what you're calling about, and you haven't just said all of the stuff, and then you need to be transferred and you have to say it again. I want to invite our I'll call us in studio, because this is our virtual studio. I'd like for anyone with any questions or anything that they would like our community to know, to please unmute yourself and say it now, because if we have those questions, somebody else watching will have those questions as well. But basically, we'll leave this up for some time. I'll put the script back up and put this card back up so that you're calling the other number. And in between, we may have some discussions. But we here in virtual studio, will mute ourselves, but you'll see us making those calls right along with you. Again, this is being live streamed on UMD, Cyber Power of Tigray, as well as TMH. And I'll do my best to switch in between to see any live questions that may be happening on YouTube or Facebook. Anyone with any questions or anything they'd like our community to know?
Helena, can we explain who can participate? When you participate, charge you go do you? Because these are things people will be asking. And are we only reaching out to embassies in the US, or can people everywhere reach out to their respective embassies? If we can just give them those clarifications, I think it will be helpful.
Absolutely. Great points. The majority of the embassies we will be reaching out to are in the US, as you saw those numbers. And let me just go to our spreadsheet made by our wonderful Edu. We do have some overseas embassies, obviously Luxembourg, Germany, Finland, France, and so on. If you're used to making overseas calls, really would like to invite you to make those calls. You probably have a built-in, mobile phone card, like a Reptile or something like that. So when it comes to that, which we will do last, we invite you to do it. If you are tuning in from overseas, why don't you go ahead and start with your own embassies, and we can put those numbers up as well in between those moments we have conversations. That's really a great flag there, Mazawa. We did make it this time so that we're able to get East Coast and West Coast here in America, but also there's some time for our international communities to make these phone calls. So what I can do is I'll put all of the international European Union Parliament members' numbers on one card, possibly in about maybe 15 minutes, and start putting it on the screen in between those of us making the calls for the US. Does that make sense? Okay.
It absolutely does. Thank you. I can summarize in Tigrinya so people listening can understand it clearly. So I'm العالم جلهم كلهم هم كتساتفوا تقولوا عاوز virtual campaign زي سلك قدرتات نشتنت نحيلنا عاوز سكرين كنعمد عينا عاوز زوم تاي عدلا يكونن بفيسبوك بيوتيوب ياركم ترينا جلهم كلهم راح كواخم من دلا أفتي أبزي تزبها كله تتحيفوا لكم يو من مسأجمي ولنا يقان قاجلون كي قاتمكم أنتي سلكتات وزخزر زريو أمريكا تقنيو تجارون دقفت قالس تجراي خونكم بمول أخمن نفتن سلك قدرتات نساتا نادولكم تابز تحيفنا يا زلنا إخوم تنبو مالتي شمكم تخم سلام كلي بهال بزعوز قداي زخزار بيه دلي لكم أو أبحث صار مالتي ترانسفر كجوركم من حركوينهم وانت تبيهم even if there is like a voicemail حركوينهم they should leave the message behind, right in the حرسب زل علوون زي اللي قوينو تمال اختيار وقدفوا ويقوم زل علوي اللي لكم كي تعطيوا مالتايه كالي بتالي أو يوروب تركو خالي أو أمريكا زي اللي قوم حاتناون please make sure to really to give تايز بالسلك كدول لكم نسخاتكم وأنا حزي نخدم زلنا هجرات الساو أوروبيان ينزلون أمريكان كل يوم مجلس سنة كوسنو وزخلمو. Please make sure that you participate. Now Zoom gala, because I already shared it on Facebook and people are asking where's the link to join the Zoom call. So you don't need to join this Zoom call. Like all you need to do is أبزي أكن زارو تلنا أمنتات كتريهم بعلنا ممكن جمر سلازقنا من زرا كترينا إحنا كمي كمن نجورو بتشا توزت سمعوا زلهم الاختصاص لتنزر زرات القوزرتات النادولكم تعمل الاختصام حلافية بزوجكم كرشيلا. All it takes is 3 minutes of your busy schedule, but we know you care so much. اسكحزنا جوركم وتنحكم بزح سلازقنا كلتا سلسة دقيقة بزح يخونن حتوتات لكم تحركوينو أفتي فيسبوك شير استجارة بTMH بUMD ميدان سايبر باور أوف تجريني محل لفس لزلو أو تاتون كتحفو تقولكم نمبرنا يوتا تمليسنا نمت أنا ملسي كنا كورينا مالتي. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I know you didn't sign up for a translation, but you do it beautifully and you're so appreciated. So hopefully you are watching on your computer, maybe, and then we'll be making phone calls on your phone. Again, in case you are not, and you're maybe tuning in from your phone, we want to go ahead and give you the script if you choose to follow the script. If you take just one moment to read it over, please feel free to bring in your own vibe or personal story. If you end up infusing it with your personal story, we ask that you keep it brief so that you keep the attention span of the person. Let me share that now. And so now I invite you to take a screenshot of the script. We'll keep pulling it up, but we've labeled it script to follow, or and I'll say, or speak from the heart. We want to make this as as easy to do as possible. So this is the script. So you'll make the phone call. Maybe you'll need some of these have extensions that we have shared. Maybe you'll press the extension and they'll say, good morning, such and such embassy. And then you'll just say, hello, my name is so-and-so. I'm calling to bring attention to the need to extend the mandate, let's say to extend the UN mandated, no live edits, to extend the mandate of the International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia, better known as ICRI. Maybe by this time, somebody might stop you and say, oh, let me transfer you, although we've made sure the extension is here. And then you can just continue on reading. Again, I invite you to just take a look at it before you make your first call. If you choose to go from the heart, which is just fine, I still invite you to really say this first part so that they know exactly why you're calling. And then maybe you can just share what the devastation in Tigray has meant to you and your family. Just keep it really short, and why an independent investigation like that of led by the UN is so important. Any observations from our virtual in-studio folks?
I don't see any questions, Lina Haftay, but thank you for giving us all that information. We're just trying to make sure that everyone has a chance to click in and see. I believe we are live in 3 of them, correct? Okay, so that you don't have to watch all 3. You just have to join one of them, TMH Cyber Media or UMD, so that way you can see the phone numbers and you have the scripts ready. We are again hoping. A lot of times they might be able to say, would you like to speak to possibly an ambassador or an embassy appointed person, a consular? So pick any of them. The point is to just say, hey, this is what's happening. And we do believe that your embassy can put a pressure and influence in ensuring that the international community can pressure that the thorough investigation, independent investigation of ICRI can actually be mandated. And we do believe that you stand with humanity, etc. So it's really is important that you just speak from the heart. Thank you, Mickey, for joining us definitely from morning time. So I'm ready, Helena, whenever you are ready. So we will be, most of us will be on mute. You might not be able to hear us, but you will see us speaking. So please do try as well. If you're home, have this on your tablet or on your computer, so that way you could use your phone for calling. So thank you, everybody. Should we maybe before would you like to I think we can start what I said, which is a lot of us already have been working on this thing for almost 2 months now. We're very much aware of the extra effort that has actually went into renewing ICRI, or even the work that we've been trying to raise awareness on. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware that we're not naive about where we stand, but we also understand that we have it is important to give it our very best. And we have 2 days, earlier, we have 2 days left. So we're not going to quit when we have 2 days left. That's basically it. But I will pass it on to you, and then Helena can follow up.
And worth noting that we did have some folks who asked this morning, what is ICRI? So maybe just, yeah.
Okay. مو يا كلكم نسمعكم تنحكم لما أنت أكينا يلنا بزعبة قللتني زغنن عالم لقاء صاري كوميتي استهاو جيزي حز ديسمبر يزود نحد عمت مجمرات تعيشو كأود حد عمت كينا وحي حز كله زعرتات زقبر زلو قلت يو إكري مالا تحت روتا قال يونايتد صاري كوميتي جروب اوف اكسبرتس يوم هيومن رايتس صاري تزغونو بسلسته سوات يزمرح أو تحتيو خلوت اللو اسك حز تفلالي سرحتتنا سرحت أني حيو قمت سمعكم مقدمي حدا سمون ኣቢሉ ኣብ ዩኤን ዓለም ለኸ ናይ ዩኤን ውድ ሕቡራት መንግስታት ዝነበረ ኣኼባ ሪፖርት ተቕሪቡ ማለት እዩ ብዛዕባ ትግራይ ዝተፈፀሙን እስካዕ ሕዚ እናተፈፀሙ ይቕፅሉ ዘለዉ ግፍዕታትን እንታይነቶም እንታይ ዓይነት ናይ ፍትሒ ሜካኒዝም ከም ዘድሊ ብዝርዝር መግለፂ ኣውፅኡ ነይሩ ማለት እዩ ሕዚ እቲ መግለፂ እሱ ባዕሉ ፍትሒ የምፀልናን ባዕሉ ንሰባት ዘይከኣሰር ይኽእል እዩ ግን ናይቲ ንገብሮ ንፍትሕን ተጠያቕነትን ንገብሮ ቃልሲ ሓደ ኣካል እዩ ማለት እዩ ስለዚ እዚ ኣካል እዚ ኣብ ዘይግዚኡ ዕድምኡ ከይተናውሐ ሕዚ ኣብ ዲሰምበር በቃ ተጨናጊፉ ንክቐሪ ናይ ኢትዮጵያ መንግስትን ካልኦት ዓድታትን ዘይተሓለለ ፃዕሪ ገይሮም ሕዚ ዳርጋ መወዳእታ ጫፍ እዮም በፂሖም ዘለዉ ኣንሕና ዋላ ሎማዓንቲ ንድውላ ስልኪ ቁፅሪ እንደዊልና ንዛረባ ዘረባ ለውጢ ንክዘይተምፅእ ትኽእል እያ ግን it's part of the process እዩ ከምቲ ኩሉ ግዜ ንበሃሎ ፍትሒ ብዛዕባ ሕጊ ጥራሕ ኣይኮነን ብዛዕባ ፖለቲካ እውን እዩ ናይ ዝተፈላለዩ ሃገራት ናይ ፖለቲካ ሓይሊ እናተቃየረ ብዝኸደ ቁፅሪ ንፍትሕን ንገብሮ ቃልስና እውን ብኡ ልክዕ መልክዑን ዓይነቱ ክብደቱ እናተፈላለየ እዩ ዝኸይድ ስለዚ ሕዚ ኣንሕና ብውዕሊ ፕሪቶርያ መሰረት ገይሮም ትራንዚሽናል ጀስቲስ ዝበሃል ወይ ለለ ኢትዮጵያ ባዕላ ትውንኖ ናይ ውሽጢ ዓዲ ፍትሒ ጌርካ እዩ ህዝቢ ትግራይ ፍትሒ ክመፀሉ ኢሎም ይዛረብሉ እዚ ከምዘይኸውን ኣንሕና ንፈልጥ ኢና ከም ጉድኣት ዝበፅሖም ህዝብታት ማለት እዩ ስለዚ ዋላ ድካም ይኹን ዋላ ንደልዮ ውፅኢት ተለይልና ኣይንርከብ እስካዕ መወዳእታ ተስፋ ክንቆርፅ ስለዘይግብአና በተለይ ናይ ሲቪክ ማሕበራትን ዜጋታትን ማለት እዩ ተቃልሲ ዝሕዝ እውን ንቕፅለሉ ኣለና ስለዚ ሕዚ ኣብ ኦክቶበር 4 ካብቶም ናይ ውድብ ሕቡራት ሃገራት መንግስትታት ሓንቲ ዓዲ እዚ ኣብ ልዕሊ ኢክሪ ድምፂ ንሃብ ይቐፅል ዶ ኣይቐፅል ስቑልና ምንም ድምፂ ከይተዋሃበ ዲሰምበር ምስ በፅሐ እቲ ዴድላይን ምስ ኣኸለ ክጠፍእ እዮም ዝደልይዎ ዘለዉ እሱ ንኸይኸውን ግን ንሃገራት ኣሚንና ንሕና ካሊእ እኳ እንተቐሬስ ከይተቃለስና ስቑልና ኢልና ክንህብ ስለዘይብልና ኢናቱ ናይ ሎማዓንቲ ከም ዝትርእይዎ ዘለኹም ማለት እዩ ስለዚ እቲ ኤክስፔክቴሽንና ማኔጅ ክንገብሮ ኣለና ኣንሕና ምንም ሪሶርስ ዘይብሎም ሃገር ዘይኮንና ዜጋታት በደል ዝበፅሐና ሰባት ኢና ድምፅና ክነስምዕ ንምኩር ዘለና ኣንፃርና ይቃለሱ ዘለዉ ግን ሓንቲ ሃገር ክልተ ሃገር ጥራሕ ኣይኮኑን ብጣዕሚ ዓበይቲ ሃገራት ኢንፍሉዌንሻል ዝበሃሉ ሱፐር ፓወርስ ንቻይና ራሻ ከይቀረዩ እዮም ኣንፃርና ተሰሊፎም ዘለዉ ይኹን ዳ እምበር ተቃልሲ ብዘየገድስ ዋላ ድካምን ነዊሕን ይኹን ኣንሕና ተስፋ ኣይቆረፅና ስለንቕፅል ኢሎም ማዓንቲ ናይ መወዳእታ ሓይልና ኩሉ ኣኻኺብና እዛ ስልኪ ቁፅሪ እዚኣ እናተጠቐምና እናደወልና ንኤምባሲታት ድምፅና ክነስምዕ ንምኩር ዘለና ማለት እዩ እሞ ድሓረ ዲስኣፖይንትድ ከይትኾኑ ምእንቲ እዩ እቲ ዘሎ ሪያሊስቲክ ዝኾነ ወይ ድማ እቲ ሓቃዊ ጭቡጥ ኣብ መሬት ዘሎ ነገር ክንረድእ ንምኩር ዘለና ማለት እዩ ብዝኾነ this is an opportunity ንኩላህና ኣሕዋትና ዝተቐተሉና ኣዴታትና ዝተደፈራ ኣሕዋትና ብጥሜት ዝሞታና ዓድና ዘዋደመ ንብረትና ዝተዘረፈ ብሙሉእና ዕድል እዩ እዚ ንዓና ቀጥታ on behalf of our family members advocate ንገብረሉ ማለት እዩ እሞ ከምዚ ዓይነት ዕድል ኩሉ ግዜ ስለዘይግነ ኩልኩም ስልክ ቁፅርታትኩም ስልክኩም እናውፃእኹም ኣብዚ ካምፔን እዚ ክትሳተፉ ደጊምና ንፅውዕ እቲ ትዛረብዎ ነገር ብግልፂ ተቐሚጡ ህሊናየ can you share the script can you share your screen just so I can go through it and explain ክትዛረብዎ ዘለኩም ነገር ምንም ዘጨንቕ ነገር ኣይኮነን ሳመሪ ብጣዕሚ ሓፃር ዝኾነ ተቐሚጣትልኩም እያ ኣብዚ ከም ትሪእዎ ኣለኹም ስልክ ቁፅራት ክቕመጥ እዩ ብጎኒ ካብቲ ስልክ ሓንቲ እያ ስልክ ቁፅሪ ደው ኢሉ ኣቢልኩም ሄሎ ሽመይ እከለ ይበሃል ሎማዓንቲ ድውል ዘለኹ ብዛዕባ ኢክሪ it's very important እዛ መጀመርያ ዘላላይ ተደሊኹም ካብ ልብኹም ክትዛረቡ ትኽእሉ ኢኹም ተደሊኹም ለለ ኣብ ዝተፅሓፈ ክተንብቡ ትኽእሉ ኢኹም we encourage you ኣብ ዝተፅሓፈ ክተንብቡ ምክንያቱ ሓፂር ስለ ዝኾነ ብታ ዘለትኩም ሓፃር ግዜ ትዘድሊ መልእኽቲ ተብተብ ከይበልኩም ክተቕርቡ ስለ ትኽእሉ ግን ካብ ልብኹም እውን ክትዛረቡ እንድሕር ደሊኹም እታ መጀመርያ ዘላ ሙሉእ ሓሳብ ክትገልፅዎ ናይ ግድን እዩ I am calling to bring attention to the need to extend the mandate of the International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia or known as ICRI. እዚኣን ብጣዕሚ ኢምፖርታንት እያ ከምዚ ምስ በልኩምዎ ወይ ባዕሎም ክሰምዑኩም እዮም ወይ ናብ ዝምልከቱ ኣካል ክሕልፈኩም ክብልኩም እዮም ተፀበይዎም እዚ ኩሉ ሞኪርኩም እንድሕር ዘልዕሎ ሰብ ዘይሎ ኮይኑ እውን ቮይስ ሜሴጅ ግደፍሎም ኢኹም እዚ ኣንቢብኩም ማለት እዩ ስለዚ ኣይና ክንገብርሎም ማዓንቲ ስለተከታተሉና ኣለኹም ነመስግን ብዝተፈላለዩ መንገዲ ንሕቶታትኩም ክትልቁልና ትኽእሉ ኢኹም ክንምልስ ክንሞክር ኢና ማለት እዩ Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Maasawa. And as Maasa mentioned, it's really easy to do. It's just a matter of doing it. We don't want to take too long before we get started, but we were sharing this morning, someone asked, oh, what is ICRI? So in the simplest of terms, And I know some of our speakers can do it a lot better than I can. But if you are hearing about this or you've wanted to ask for a while but have been too shy, basically ICRI is the only United Nations based investigative mechanism that we have been allowed. And even though the investigative body still does not have access to Tigray, if you were watching the session about a week ago, a week and a half ago, they still got most of it right. They talked about the atrocities through investigations through phone calls and other manners of investigating when you know from abroad. They said all the things we needed them to say, meaning they uncovered the widespread systematic rape, the mass casualties caused by the systematic massacres, and so much more. So at the beginning, because we knew this ICRI investigative mechanism or body was going to be working with the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, you know, we looked down on it because we just wanted a completely independent based investigation. But now this is our only lifeline to getting any sort of accountability for our families, for our people, and all that they have gone through. They more than deserve justice. And so if you have been on any protest, if you have cried for Tigray, if you have, you know, obviously you have family members or know people with family members, we just really ask you to take just a moment to make a call or two, or just stay with us until we go down the list and make these calls. So that's what ICRI is. Ethiopia is doing its best, and a lot of people feel like they're winning, that they have been able to somehow stop the extension, meaning the investigators have done their job until now, and there's a time coming up. Our deadline is October 4th, but a later deadline. But if there is no extension, there is no resolution put forth to say we want to extend so that the investigations can really be completed, then Ethiopia, basically and I'm sorry to be so blunt, but the rapist, the murderer, ends up being responsible for the investigation, which is preposterous. So please stay with us. Please make these calls with us. And on the live chats, please share your experience as we will. So everyone, shall we begin?
Yeah, Helena, I just want to add one thing,
Yes.
we were mentioning like how this is our only, you know, international independent mechanism, and just to emphasize it, it is completely independent. It is different from the initial investigation that was done jointly with the UN and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission. So this is completely independent, and this is why we really support this body and this commission to do the work, because it is the only one we have, and it's international, it's impartial, and it's independent, which is what we want, and what everyone in Ethiopia, everyone whose families have, you know, suffered through atrocities should want to be able to have this investigative mechanism. I just wanted to emphasize that point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a very major and important correction. Thank you so much. So meaning if you are a non-Tigrayan who once protested against this, and obviously other parts of Ethiopia are now beginning to have atrocities happening to their families, we ask you to join the calls. Again, if Ethiopia, you know, becomes a place where independent investigations are not allowed, that does not just affect Tigray, that affects all of Ethiopia. Thank you, Sarah. Very important correction there. So here we go. We'll try to do a little music, but obviously this is about getting through this list. And please let people know if you're watching on one of the streaming platforms, send it to your family group chats and even your work colleagues and such. We are beginning with Algeria and Argentina. As you can see there, you know, US numbers with extensions of their own. I believe that these are New York numbers. I could be wrong, but you don't have to start at the top one. You could start in Argentina. The thought is if you get a busy signal on one, try the other, and just please keep going back and forth. If you're working on your laptop or computer and your phone, you could just take a snapshot. And let's begin. I'll be going back and forth between the script. Thank you so much. And I'll ask our folks to please mute yourself as you make these calls, and then we can share our experiences.
So I see that Maza Hafte has finished, and also I have finished as well. And what I got is they said that we are aware, but also please send us an email. And so they have provided me their email address. Maza, how was yours?
They didn't pick up. I'm still trying them. Did they pick up yours?
Yes, they did. She answered and she said this is a private line that you're speaking on. And so I did call Algeria. I just want to make sure that I called. Which one did I call? I'm not sure. I called the second one. No, Argentina. Sorry, Argentina. And that's what they said. So I'm going to try to call Algeria as well, since we have two phone numbers on one slide.
I just did Algeria as well, and they have asked us to email the counselor. We'll go to the website and email the chancellor or the counselor. So I will do that too. Thank you.
All right, so Helena, if you can share the phone number, slide 3. Just for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, what we just did is picked one number and we called Algeria or Argentina, and we basically told them, as you can see, Helena's already speaking with someone, or she's at least leaving a voice message. So they will be very quick sometimes to respond, but I think that's a good thing that Sarah Hafte that has fixed that first lining is they will ask, what is this about? So please be sure that you are saying it is for the International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia, and that we're calling to speak with the embassy or an ambassador or consular that may be able to help us with foreign affairs. So again, it is a foreign matter. So that's why And I continue to use their name, their embassy name, so that way they know that I'm specifically targeting or speaking to them, and that I know that they have an influence in the international community and that their voice and their vote matters as well. So thank you, Helinawa. Let me come back to you.
So I just got off the phone with Algeria, and it was really great because she said, I started with the script, but then I just felt moved to talk about the fact that without peace or accountability and justice in Tigray, we strongly believe there will be no peace in the whole of Ethiopia. And the destabilized major proponent of, or part of the Horn of Africa is not good for anyone. And then I just briefly mentioned that I'm also advocating on behalf of my family members and entire Tigrayan community who've had so many losses and still going through mental health repercussions of almost 3 years of devastation. And she said, I'm so sorry to hear that. We actually have been getting a lot of calls, several calls this morning. So it's really great because through this type of action, we keep saying we're small but mighty, but even small in numbers, getting those back-to-back calls, it does put strength in whatever numbers we're showing up this morning. So I will continue on to Argentina, but then I'll go ahead and go to the next slide. What do you think? Ladies, okay, and gentlemen. All right, please feel free to start with whichever, Argentina or Bangladesh. And Edu, was it just 100?
Yes. They ask for reception, goes to reception 100 or 138, but 100 is fine.
Can you put the script back up, the script?
Okay. I think I received for Bangladesh, it went straight to voice message. They had an operator in 136 or 100 is the operator number extension. However, I left a voice message, I think.
And did you say 136?
Yeah, 100 or 136 is their extension number to the operator.
And I can tell some, obviously the embassies are on the phone with someone else, one of our community members, which is really great. And I don't mind waiting. I will wait until they pick up.
Okay, so I'm gonna just respond to some messages on I see on TMH the comment section where people are saying, do you want us to call too? Yes. So what we're doing is hello everyone. For those of you who are just joining us, thank you for being here. This is for ICRI Telethon. So what we're doing is we're calling all the UN state members, embassies, foreign embassies. So depending where you live, if you are in Canada, if you could just quickly just search for foreign embassies within the state that you live or the country that you live, and it will give you phone numbers. So the phone numbers that we're calling these are from Washington, D.C. And as you can see here, I see some people, I see Maaza on the phone and Helina's on the phone. So we're calling Argentina and Bangladesh right now. So you call the phone number for Argentina and you basically read the script that we do have. This is again, we're saying that we are calling as US citizens or a citizen of whatever country that you are located at, and we're demanding them that to extend the ICRI mandate for Ethiopia, but also for Tigray as well. So it is very simple. Please use the phone number. As you can see, it's being displayed for you. I see it on YouTube channels as well. Call and personally just speak. Your message should be, at least the first line should be, I'm calling to bring attention to the need to extend the mandate of the ICRI, which is the International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia. So that way they know what the message is about. They may ask you, would you like to speak to an ambassador? Would you like to speak to the embassy head or to the chancellor? Say yes, and then it will give you a chance to even speak a little bit on personal terms, like speak from the heart, as Helena has wrote it there. So I don't see any other questions besides that. The reason you can't hear us is we're all talking at the same time, so you won't be able to truly get, you won't be able to hear, but we are giving you a little bit of feedback and here and there. So stay with us. It's not just a one phone number that we're calling over a few, I think I want to say at least 48 embassies. For those of you who are outside the US, I see share the numbers above. As you can see, UMD Media, thank you for doing that. They are sending you on the chat of the UMD Media that they're sending messages of the actual phone numbers. So they're sharing that for you so you can see it if you miss it out on the screen. Do you want us to contact Algeria, Argentina? Are there more? Yes, there are going to be more, about 40-something embassies that we will be sharing with you. Yes, and we will we'll try to bring the script right away. Sorry, we understand on that one. Apologies, we're doing 1,000 things at the same time. So let me come to Sarah or Maaza. I see you guys are done. You can unmute.
Yeah, so well, I was calling Nadawul Kunera, has had yom tayums guru, tadalixi email sidad imbar, ambassador tagni ay tkhilani wlu yom hazina amna taxt guru tkhulihum, nhazu qad tsulu su'alkum silkim duwana kalot addetat malati. Da haragn wud msabbalkum, zawzuni phone script nisilkito haylu draft stagawra nishtan edit gerkum kam emailun ktlqwa tkhulihum. Soqta zarun kulluhum email la aqtilumhum, please give me how need email address. And then some people asked on my Facebook Live, now كلتا شع خندول دخلنا حد بوتا طرح لينا خندول call as many numbers as you can humanly do. كنا تخيلكم ناميت أمباسي وانت لأقكم تقامي ولون حنش عيكونن قلنا يتن top priority نازق أمتنا ين عددات القطري أو استزرزير له. So now ندول. And some are asking if we can share all the phone numbers at once on our screen so they can take a screenshot and then call instead of waiting for us. Because I guess قال يوم قلت فاتسل زغنو. So if we can do that from our end, that would be great. And I don't know if Sarah or Helena can work on this, but if you can also, some are asking if we can put the slide, the script and the phone numbers side by side. That way it's easier for them, you know, to pay attention when you low. But I think a good number of people are participating. And our Facebook Live, our UMD Media, the MH Cyber Power of Tigray ترينا زلكم please the link زينا وكله سدوه نا وكل شير جورو من كل سامع قساتف مسانا من تكساتف تليلو مالتيو أو زنتوسنو ساعات كنت أن نحسل زخنا مسانا كلكم نحواتكم بيتساوكم زلكم جروب شاتنا وكله الأخوة مو كل سامع من تكساتف مالتيو. Thank you.
Let me see if I can take over the host. Helena,
Sorry, Edu, I'm back on. I had muted you, and I received a grunt, and somebody just forwarded me to someone else. So that's something that we may experience as well. Shall we go to the next one? And I'm in the process of trying to give you a co-host.
Do view and then say grid, maybe on that view and grid. And then it will give us on a spreadsheet, on a slideshow, so that way people can see multiple of the phone numbers. Some people are saying, we're done with this. Can we go to the next one, Ainet? So great.
Very great. Let me just, while I find view and grid, I believe we're on Belgium and Benin. Am I right?
Yes. We should have already done Bangladesh by now. I don't see. Okay, I don't see any other questions. So I'm going to Google and call Algeria Embassy in the UK. Okay, yeah. So we were able to find some European country phone numbers, but it was a bit off. It wasn't really as clear as like, there's this embassy, this is a phone number. So that's why I'm a little bit hesitant about sharing those numbers, because I don't know if they're going to be work, and there was no way for me to find out if those numbers actually work, as opposed to calling every single one of them. But let's try.
And as we try them, we can just continue to give feedback and go from there. Okay, let me go back to the script as I continue to look for view. It wouldn't be a real meeting without a technical challenge on Zoom, would it?
Did someone from Belgium Embassy answer any of your calls? Helena, you're on mute if you're answering my question.
Sorry, Mazawa, I'm actually working on getting a grid view. But no, I have not called out to Belgium yet. I'm trying to put the script up with the phone numbers. Anyone gotten information from Belgium? Is it working? Is the number working for you?
It's working, but they don't pick up, and they don't have a voicemail set up. But it's okay, I'll continue. I think Belgium is an important country, so.
Agreed. Let's see, maybe just put a little note. just so we can kind of circle back and see.
Yeah, and we can always email Belgium if we don't manage to get a number.
Let me get back on phone with you, Sarah, to figure this thing out.
Yeah, we could also try to get their New York number. I believe this is the embassy. Let me look that up.
Okay, so I think I'm the only one speaking. Okay, so I was able to it does what they do is Belgium is they start with French, and then once they're done with their introductory in French to continue, they go back to the English aspect of it and they say whoever you're interested in speaking. So 5 is what I pressed. However, I think your screen isn't in. So that 5 is what I pressed, and then I was able to leave a voice message, but it really waits a long time before getting to the voice message part. Like there's like a long elevator music going on. So just be mindful on that one. So I think let's go to Benin. I do see Sarah speaking and Azebo speaking, and also Helena. Also, Tesfa, I wanted to actually see if you have. Oh, he's on the phone. Okay, Tesfa is on the phone. He's in Canada, so for
No, I actually spoke to a lady, the Belgian embassy. She said, "Please email us." I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
So you're calling from Canada, right, Tesfa? I just wanted to.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So these phone numbers are working, or are you dialing a specific type of phone number for Canada?
They do work the same way.
Okay, so Canadian people, for those of us who, because I just wanted, sometimes they do work, but I wanted to make sure. So for those of you who are watching us from Canada, please be sure to call these numbers as well. That would be great. Let's see. So please be sure if you have already called Belgium, try to call Benin. I have not. Showit said, oh, hi, Showita. Welcome. I didn't see you there. So happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you guys for keeping resetting the room going and the conversations going. I just want you to know I'm just working to be able to split screen share with you. But we ask you to please continue. I am going between script and phone numbers right now. If you are able to, please take a quick picture of the script as you see it here. But we will continue to go back and forth. And Edua, in between calls, if you don't mind, for those who have just joined, just letting them know what we're doing and that we are expecting people to please call. If you are seeing these numbers on the screen, please call. The deadline is just a couple of days away, and we're in desperate need to make this last push because we've all, as a community, worked so hard until now. We want to see this thing through. At the end of this, no matter what the outcome is, and we know there are some people who feel like they know what the outcome already is, but we want to make sure that we know that our efforts were consistent to the end, great news or not.
All right, thank you, Helena. So, Miki, it's not allowing me to share the script on our chat because it's a little bit too long. So let me cut it in two, so that way it's a little bit easier for everybody to copy paste at least the first part of it.
And Edua, I believe you're patched into, and I can send it to Dr. Getachew as well, and Ato Misfin and Ato Ephraim to share it on the individual platforms. But I think it would be really great if we can have the script being shared on the streaming platforms as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I sent it there for you, Miki. So Helena, let me try something if you can give me host access. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us. I don't see any questions. UMD Media is doing a wonderful job of sharing the phone numbers on the chat, so that way people could see and have the phones ready for them. On the image, because okay, it's unnecessary comments, but I do see others that are saying keep up the good work, so thank you. We'll keep doing that. So for those of you who are just joining us, and thank you again for being here, we are here to call and to give our last push. We have 2 days left before October 4, which is the last day before, possibly the last day before any state member can submit a resolution to extend the mandate, the ICRI, which is the International Commission on Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia. So you already have known this. We've been speaking about it for the past almost 2 months, especially when it comes to the push of it, and that we have said this is the only true investigative mechanism that exists, an impartial and credible investigative team. So that is why it is important that we do have this. Any of the other reasons and excuses that the Ethiopian government has created so far is not going to be benefiting us, that's for sure, or the citizens of Ethiopia for that matter. So it is important that we do get this ICRI renewed. We have seen it. The second report that came out from the commission shows that human rights violations are continuing within Tigray and has not stopped despite the COG agreement, despite the Pretoria agreement, and also that there are human rights violations taking place in other regions of Ethiopia. As we've said it in the past as well, any human rights violation that has not been addressed will continue to spread throughout, and that is what's happening right now in Ethiopia. The Ethiopian government does not care about its own people, that's for sure, because if it did, it will be doing something to stop it. But however, that's not what the case is. So that's why we're calling all these embassies who are part of the state members, the UN state members, to use their influence, to use their parts, their seats, their power to ensure that the international community responds to the adequately much needed also independent investigation for the extension of ICRI. It is important that we tell them we are watching, we are here to remind you, and that you have a responsibility to protect. That's what we're trying to say. So please be mindful, and you don't have to read word from word of the script, but just at least the first line, which is saying, I'm calling to bring attention to the need to extend the mandate, which is the International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia, and that this personally affects me, my family's back home, etc. So you can really tell them exactly what you've been experiencing for the past 2-3 years now, and that nothing has actually stopped, right? So with that being said, let me come back to you, as a Hafte. Maybe you can give a little bit in Tigrinya. For those of you who are just joining us, I do see at least collectively over TMH, UMD, and Cyber Media, we have over at least 100 and something people watching us. So I want to say, don't watch us only, do it as well with us, and comment there if you're seeing any comments or any messages that you're receiving over the call, so that way we can address that as well for you, Time. Thank you.
يغنيلنا إذن يا كلكم دونجيكم نزمت أخوم لما عنتي أو زترينا زلكم أو استفعلالي بوتاتات قوينا أو ناي تفتحن تطيقنة تعرفت نساتف ساعتين كلاتنا حزي زنكايدو زلنا بفيرتشوال بسلكينا تدولة ناي استفعلالي هاجرات إمباسي أو أمريكا أو واشنطن دي سي نيويورك نزركو نادولنا تناي قللتني أزغونا نايو إنا تأراي كوميشن عدم نكناوح إنا تعويت نقبر زلنا مالتي كلكم ترئينا زلهم وانت سلك وزرتات وزي تزرزيرك أمتيو نادولكم زوزني تحفتن بولهم مالتي نخلو نأمنت كحزينة وأرجنتينا بلجيم بنغلاديش كالوت إمباستات ندولنا لنا نأونا دولنا سلام شمئ كليبها لو ما عاد زدول زلقو بزعوام إكري ولا لا International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia mandate زملكتيو أبزح الساعات إثيوبيا بفلاي دما تجراي أو تعمل ما كنا تاتيركو وانجلاتي في التأملو تطوي بالون سلزين عالم لخم حرسة بتاليناتكم إمباسي أبي زلوا ودمت إتتقيمو زي أتعرى كوميتي زي عدم أنكنا وحمو توما بالعليهم مستفلالي وانجلات بدلات زوجهم هزفتات دمتهم نكسمع وإدما تتعريو زوجهم وانجل فتحن خرخكب نسخاتكم كم هاجر زلكم حيلن سلطان تدعمكم إذا نختفت تمون متأيق يزدول زلقتولوا مالتي تريلهم زوج صحفنا يزلنا سكريبت تنبو كبعلكم كاول بخنا جريان حلكمون كم دليتكم مالتي نجارو ومكدو الخلقهم زي بيرسونالي نعكم كم زهاسيكم بعلكم سخم سرفايفرات كم زخونكم بيتسبكم كم سانكم أحواتكم بتميت كم استساقيو أديتاتنا 5 دفرة زي سؤال كبر حوزر عهم موزيكونس بيرسونالي أفكت زجوركم نجار كم زخونة بدن بجيركم أرد ومالتي ياو بدعم بزح ساعات يبلنا نشتنجزي يزلنا سلزي كلها ناشا ما شابيننا خنساتف لنا أوزي بعلهم راح تساتفكم سقطول كيكونس كال يسوون من تكساتف بإم دي TMH تجراي سايبر باور اوف تجراي نبيلكم تكاتاتوا لنا زلهم بملؤهم إذا شير بمجار كالو سواتون أفتيقوس كويس نخساتفو ياو كنت يقولنا كتلع لنا دقيمنا نتحاسس مالتيو يغني لنا. Is there a way for me to live stream this on Facebook directly? I feel like we will have more traction if we do that.
I don't know, as a Hafte, we do have the links, the TMH and UMD and
I did share that. Again, I noticed that live streams have more traction than just sharing a link. I wonder if UMD can connect their live stream to my Facebook. I don't know how we can. They're listening to us, so I don't know UMD bala.
Yeah, they're
maybe
here.
they can guide.
Yeah.
on خمجنا utilize كنجور من نخلتنا Facebook تلو ناتي.
Okay, I think I see you guys. IT team, please, if you can respond to this. I think it's a good question. The more people see it, the better. And yes, thank you, Tesfai, for that. We have a lot of them are saying send us an email. The good thing is we already have a prepared email from the callitagenocide.com site. But what we can do is even it could be as short as the script that we are trying to send our message. That could be our email. It doesn't have to be something super lengthy with a lot of the documentations that we have included in the past. So we will, thank you, Shawit Hafta. Yes, we will send an email right away. I know Sarah Haftana was helping us with emails as well, because she is, it's really late on her time. I believe she's in Australia now, so it's really late on her time, and no one will be answering. So that's why she wanted to help us with the email aspects of it. So thank you, everybody. For those of you who can't make calls, please use the chats or the messages that we are sending, and you can send emails as well.
I wonder what we'd like to do about the European countries as it gets later. Hopefully it's not too late. We do have the numbers on the spreadsheet. Do you, shall we share the spreadsheet? The Europe part of the spreadsheet? What are your thoughts?
I do see a question as well that they're saying, can we send them a slide, the slideshow or the spreadsheet for the numbers to call? There's really nothing special on the spreadsheet, so we can share it. Meaning we don't have a problem with sharing it. Just be with the European numbers, we have not tried them. We have two codes at the Belgium and the France. So code is +32 and +33 for those of you who are looking at it on the spreadsheet that Helena is sharing right now. We have the European Union Parliament members. There's that. There is, of course, the State Department. There is the President European Council, Mr. Charles, US mission to European Union. There's even that number as well in there for those of you who are just seeing the spreadsheet, which we can share. And then if you scroll past the countries that we have, Algeria, and on the top, you will see on the right side, we have two numbers. That's this European Council, which is like a general number, and also the European Commission, which is another general number. So if you scroll up, Linawa, you will see it on column G and H. Keep going up. Yeah, just keep going up to the very top, GH. Yeah. And then.
All right, since I'm sharing, it's not letting me really see what I'm sharing. Should I keep scrolling up?
And then now scroll to the right side. Yep, there you go. So you will see just a general number that says European Council. When we were doing a research, that's the number kept showing up for council members and also commission. So we have these. If we have European team, please try them and let me know. The number 32 or 33 is a code, so it's +32 or +33. So, but we're happy to share this. As Hafta, if you'd like to share this spreadsheet, you can. We can all share it, I think. I don't see a problem with it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I was wondering, if we can focus exclusively on, embassies based here in the US, and then tomorrow we can have another session targeting EU. When we call embassies here in the US, we're also trying to get a hold of, European countries' embassy here. So it's not like نقد فلنا مالتي كونن حدا أو يروح حزم يمشلون سلازقنا بدمون تمثل قوسات أميتنا يومنا primarily أمريكا نيزلو نيستفعل على عدتات embassy تمثل قوسات يوم. سلازين لما أنتي أبزي أفوكس نقبر مو ناقاقن as much as possible. We'll try to collect phone numbers of, foreign affairs ministries of different European countries, and then we can target those. نلو ما عندكن أمل علم تركو تجارون دقفت قلسز تجري خونكم بمول أخمن زنو استحفن زلوا سلك قوتات أو أمريكا نيزلوا نيستفعل لعدتات إمباسيتاتيو سلزين السبب مجار كتحاورنا نقال له we can focus on the other foreign ministries of different European Union countries مالتيو. سلك قوتر قالن تولزر لهم حزي على فيسبوك I can سكرين شات وسيدا نيستفعل لي عدتات سلك قوتر كأمتي خليه قنت زقال لا أبزي أنا هلنا ندير سارحنا يوينا تي أسرار حنا خمس خنا قالون من قدنا ون كل جرجر بينا خنا قديت أصلا زي كونت سلك قوتر بزي يعني حد بحد حنكودن خلينا حنت جزي سكرين شات توصلون حتى لهم قن we can share the Excel, and then you can take screenshots. I think that's better than sharing it on Facebook because people will not act on it if we just share it.
Absolutely agree. Thank you, Mazawa. Thank you, Sarah Haftana. So it's really nice to be able to call these numbers one at a time. because or two at a time as we were doing it, because then they get back-to-back calls, and also doing it maybe 6, 8 at a time. So Sarah has put on one slide so that you can call one after another. So, and like Maza mentioned, the reason it's important, it's imperative that we do it together right now is because they can feel our numbers. No matter how many people are calling right now, they can feel our numbers, and they realize there is a crowd of people going for this. Can you guys still hear me? Sorry. Yeah? Any background noise on my end? Okay, thank you so much. If you were just joining us now, the only independent UN-led investigative mechanism to the atrocities committed on the people of Tigray, to the Tigray genocide, is in danger of being extinct. It needs to be voted into renewal. It needs a resolution put forth in order to save it, so that the so-called investigation is not put on Ethiopian government, so the perpetrator cannot investigate its own crimes, their own crimes. So if you've wondered what ICRI is, that's what it is in short: International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia, ICHREE. What we're asking today, all of the people that you're seeing in front of you with their phones in hand and muted, but calling, we're calling these numbers. Right now, we're focusing on Algeria, Argentina, Bangladesh, Belgium, Benin, Chile, Costa Rica, Finland, France, Gambia, Georgia, Germany, Honduras, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. And we're reading this script, or if you'd like to go from the heart, speak from the heart, we just ask that you begin with this. Hello, my name is Helena Tadessa. I'm calling to bring your attention to the need to extend the mandate of the International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia, better known as ICRI. And then if you want to speak from the heart, I usually start with, we know that you probably hear a lot of numbers, but I want you to know those numbers mean my family members, my uncles, my brothers, my sisters, and I want you to have spoken with someone who's been deeply affected by the genocide, by the Tigray genocide. And it's really important that your embassy, the Algerian embassy, or your embassy in Benin stands for the extension of the only UN-led investigation, because no justice in Tigray means no peace in Ethiopia. That's my, what normally comes for me from the heart. And please know that this is fine to read as well. It's as effective, if not even more, because sometimes I tend to ramble without meaning to. But if you're feeling any which way, if you're getting ready for work, for school, getting the kids ready, and you know you want to participate because you know it makes a big difference, please, by all means, read the script. Your voice, your individual voice matters so much, because a lot of times these embassies are just looking at numbers. And to have somebody on the other line saying, this happened to me, and to have many of us calling at the same time, there's power in numbers. So we ask you to just give 5 minutes to Tigray this morning. If you have more, we ask you to give an hour to Tigray this morning, so that we as a community know that we're finishing as strong as we started. Maybe you've never understood what ICRI is about. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing about ICRI. It's okay. It's okay. We'll do better for the next one, but there is no next time for this type of independent investigation. So we ask you to take a moment to do this right now. Take a moment to do this right now. Just make a call. If you haven't done Algeria, start with Algeria. Make a call. Know that you've made a difference. Maybe you're not Tigrayan. Maybe you're an ally, member of our community. We thank you for always standing by us. This is crunch time. this is our Hail Mary move. So please join in. Maybe you're just from a different part of Ethiopia. In your heart, in your mind, you realize, this is the truth. If a precedent is set in Ethiopia that no other country, no United Nations, no one else but the Ethiopian government, and however you feel about it currently, is responsible for speaking out for those violations against human rights. If you know this to be true, so just know if you make these calls, you're not necessarily advocating for Tigray, you're advocating for yourself and your families. You're advocating for the United Nations to have a say. Since that's the best we got, let's make that count. So anyone else with any new experiences in calling, thank you, Shawitwa, for joining us, and Eden G is on the call. Mazawa is on the call. These are faces and names that you know. Mickey Tigrai, you know him very well from Cyber Power of Tigray. You've got Sarah Cassidy, a champion throughout many of our nonprofit organizations. Tesfai, always there in our advocacy rooms and in those rooms that we advocate for, that are people that are making decisions. So these are an Azebawa from the DMV who's just constantly on advocacy, what's happening, what needs to happen. No one needs to introduce Eden Casa. She's at the forefront of our virtual advocacy spaces. You see represented here, Cyber Power Tigray, our wonderful Ephraim Zahauna, beautiful face displayed here. UMD consummate, consummately just there to let you know the facts, to let you know the next steps. TMH, household name, also streaming for the next steps. So just really feeling blessed this morning to have some of our main diaspora streaming sites, news sites, advocacy pushing sites able to stream live. What are you doing for Tigray today? What are you doing? Please also share with us, are you on the way to work making these calls on the live streams? Edu is keeping an eye on that. And please know, all of these people represent all of the household names of nonprofits and organizations that we know so well in our community. So I want to give an opportunity for folks to share what these calls are looking like. While that happens, I'll start adding more. I'll start adding more to from the wonderful spreadsheet that Eden has made for us with these numbers. But for now, thank you, Sarah Haftana. Go down the list. If you're done with the left side, please continue on with the right side. Hand it over to the next person.
Thanks, Alinawa, for that. So I'm seeing a couple messages on the chat groups of the live. So for those of you who are asking, for those of us in Canada, I think it's better for you to call the embassies in the US. It's National Reconciliation Day in Canada. It's designated as a federal holiday, so embassies are closed, and the EU embassy is closed at this time. So a couple of people are sending a message saying that it's closed. I understand it is, but also it is also much easier and less nerve-wracking. How about that? Just to leave a voice message. So you can leave a voice message. And again, as Maza has mentioned it earlier, maybe for the EU people, it's already late, so it might be better to have it done tomorrow while people could actually communicate or speak to us, or give us a chance to send an email as they've been sending us or giving us their email address to contact them. So for those of you who are up and you're awake and you want to just be helping us, stay awake as well, please leave a voice message. It's not a bad thing. It really would help. We would love for these people to come back or to come tomorrow morning to an office and see so many voice messages. That's my intention. So let's do that. For those of you who are asking, should we just it's closed so we can't do anything about it. There's other questions from the image standpoint. Some people are saying, what's the importance of this? And we have been mentioning to you why we're doing this. For those of you who don't know what ICRI is, Sarah Hafte has done a wonderful job of explaining it. Basically, it is a UN-funded, UN-led independent investigation team that is appointed not by the Ethiopian government, by anybody else, but except international commission that is 3 of them that have been investigating the human rights violations that are taking place within Ethiopia and also within Tigray. And this team is independent, impartial, credible investigation team, meaning we can only hope whatever they're hearing is what they will be reporting, but that is the only mechanism that we have, the only true independent team that we do have, that the state member, the European Union commissioned or established a year ago, and now it is ready and it's about to be terminated come December. So before October 4, we're trying to get a state member to submit a resolution or to possibly find a way to extend this mandate. And it is important that they extend the mandate because for those of you who have not had a chance to listen to the second report of the commission, and without any access basically to all Ethiopia and to all the human rights violation sites, they were able to write a very strong evidence basically that human rights violations and Tigray genocide, crimes against humanity, ethnic cleansing, all that has continued within Ethiopia, still is ongoing. So that is really without having a full access to all the regions and being able to bring a very strong evidence and credible reporting of that shows that there is more needed, right? The need is stronger. The independent investigation team must be renewed, and also that we do need to make sure that these state members hold the Ethiopian government accountable for the crimes that are happening. And a few things that have been a negative or a flawed side of it, or it shows that the Ethiopian government is not really committed to any accountability, is that the reaction or the reaction that we're seeing from the Ethiopian government. The fact of blocking access to this investigative team or blocking access to the African Union monitoring team. So these things are not really you would not really say these are the characteristics of a country or a government that really is trying to bring any justice or accountability or peace to its own people. So that is why it's important to say that the Ethiopian government is really not, it's not cooperating in a way to address the human rights violations that is happening. And it is important that we get someone that is not appointed by the Ethiopian government to do this thorough investigation on the human rights violations taking place. So that's why it's important. So I understand it may feel like it's a nonsense conversation for those of you who are saying that on the chat. However, I truly believe we can talk all day, every day here, but the message, this message and the messages sent, the independent investigation team is the ICRI mandate is going to have a long-lasting impact. I promise you on that, not just for Tigrayans, because we are Tagaru. Yes, we have been advocating for Tigray genocide because, yes, it has been happening. However, it's going to affect the entire Ethiopia, and I promise you on this, because it's something that they're trying to avoid, that you don't pay attention to this part of it. So that's why it's not nonsense. It's very sensible, actually. So please make sure that you are making this call and you are following the script, or just telling them your side of the story. You don't have to be from Tigray, you don't have to be from anywhere else. You just have to make sure that you understand when a violation or human rights violation is taking place, it needs to be stopped. Period. There's nothing else. There's no buts and ifs. There's no reason to give a justification for human rights violations to continue. There's really no reason, because it does not make sense if we're really being honest to one another. So thank you, Helena Hafte, and also Sarah Hafte, for giving us the scripts. It's there left for you, and also the phone numbers. I finished calling, the last person that I called was the Czech Republic embassy. So please, I do see Showit Hafte and I do see Ma'azaz Dan. So I'll go ahead and pass it on to the mic to the next person that would like to speak. But we are going to collect all these phone numbers and emails that they're giving us as well. And at the end of the day or in the afternoon, we will send a short message as well for these embassies, because they have answered the call and they said the best way for us to respond to you on this manner is to send an email. So if that's the case, yes, we will go ahead and send that email. Thank you everybody, for everyone that's watching us, and thank you to our team, the new team that's coming. Hello Eden, I see you on camera. Shawita, thanks for being here. Thank you everybody.
A couple of embassies allowing me to leave messages, otherwise getting people answering. If you are holding for a longer period of time, we invite you to call another embassy and come back, or maybe just try holding a little bit longer. More than likely they're on the phone with us. For those of you just joining us right now, we here in the virtual studio are making calls and expect you to be making those calls with us, because we know there's just a new list of the remaining embassies. So you're calling and advocating for the need to extend the only independent investigative mechanism for in Tigray, but making a note, especially if you're speaking from the heart, to let these embassies know no accountability or justice in Tigray means no peace in the entirety of Ethiopia. So thank you so much for being here. As Eden mentioned earlier, please don't just watch, please participate. Let's please make this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are, really count. Thank you for the tireless efforts, the signing of if you've already gone to www.callitagenocide.com, all of these things working in concert they make a difference, a big difference. We never want you to feel like, oh, I signed this petition, but now I have to do this. That's advocacy. After all, we have to try from all of these angles. So also let your family chat know. I'm multitasking, so I haven't been able to, but I'm hoping, I have a lot of cousins on this call, and I'm hoping one of the cousins has put it in our family chat. Streaming live today are TMH, UMD Media, Cyberpower of Tigray. Thank you to all three for streaming it for us. You can find it on Facebook as well as YouTube. Hand it over to the next person who'd like to share.
Luxembourg is, no, Lutana is asking to send them an email. So I'll just share the email address here. She said the ambassador is in a meeting and won't be able to take the call. So.
Thank you so much. That's really great. We're updating. I'm calling Germany right now. We're updating the new emails as we go on the spreadsheet. Thank you for everyone helping to update all of this.
Okay, so did anyone get a hold of Sir Kyrgyzstan? No, I have not reached there yet. I finished Finland. Another question that I'm getting is that I think a lot of people are having they might be going to work or they're at work and they can't make the calls, but the good thing is we can make sure that we're calling all day today. So we will try to share this screen that you do see right now with the script and also the phone numbers, so that way it's a little bit easier for people to copy paste and also to dial people while looking at it. But as I said it at the very beginning, to please make sure that you dial with us today right now, so it's a little bit easier, and also you get the energy from everybody else. How about that? It's transferable energy. So let me, so I'll keep calling the list of numbers, update you. Yeah, that's not a problem. Please keep going. We don't mind. We don't have to all go. The point is, I'm even calling the ones that we may already have heard from them, saying that please call us or send us an email. So I'm calling again just to even hear that same message, if that's the case, because the point is that we were calling a lot today. That's the point. So thank you, I don't have to. Let me send.
Perfect. Thank you so much for doing that. Yes, please circle back. We kept this slide up for a while because we, from the live chats, and thank you for participating and letting us know that people who are just joining and really understanding that there was that expectation to call from your end as well. We'll be moving on to the next slide. Again, thank you, Sarah, for perfect. Thank you, Sarah Haftana. This makes, you do what you can, and then you bring in folks that really make it even more well-rounded. So this is a more sustainable way of doing this. So this is the second round of phone calls. As you can see, we're moving down the alphabet, starting with Malawi and Malaysia, Maldives and Mexico, and so on, ending with Vietnam. Keep that same energy as we had when we were speaking with Argentina and Chile, knowing that every call makes a difference. If you have a voicemail, as it's been said, please go ahead, leave that voicemail. As Eden says, less pressure, although you should feel no pressure, no pressure. After all, we're advocating for our families and our people. And those of you who are not of Tigrayan descent, advocating for Ethiopia. So it's all about peace, accountability, and justice. Literally has nothing to do with politics. So if you still don't see why this is important, then you should tune in somewhere else. But to those of us making these calls, please, let's continue. And I will put myself on silent so I can start with Malawi. If you're on live and you're given an email address or something like that, please feel free to share. Yes, feel free to share. Or don't, because we're making that call too, and probably best not to. Again, we know how people who are anti-peace tend to work, so thank you.
All right, is anyone speaking or I'm confused with my mutes? Too many buttons we're pressing around here. So again, thank you. Yes, for those of you who are saying there's no voice, it's because we are calling. So our message is, as you can see, we're calling all the U.S. embassies, the international embassies in the U.S., and asking them to know that what's happening right now with the ECRI extension, and that the deadline is approaching soon, and that we are asking them to extend the mandate. So please be sure, just start at anywhere, especially if you have not started with us at the beginning. Feel free to start with the messaging there, and just continue. This is the second, I believe we're on the second list right now, because I see Malawi instead of I guess what we started earlier was Algeria. Yeah, Algeria. So the second part of it. Yep. So please be sure to call, and you don't have to wait in any order. We were gonna do it in some order earlier, but we saw some of you guys were really fast, so wonderful. But please don't hang up without leaving a voice message. If they say, please email us, and they want to like stop you, say, okay, could you please give me the email address? Even though some of us may already have asked that and we have received it, but the reason is to make sure that they really are paying attention to what you're saying. So get them to tell you that email address again, write it down, and then we'll make sure that we're sending that email in the afternoon today. So, and then by the looks of it, we may be, Litania might be blocking us apparently, but we love it when they're saying we're so tired of you, but that's great. So I will not see it as anything bad. Just keep doing it. That's what I'm going to say.
It means we're doing our jobs, right? It means we're doing our jobs. And that's the only one we've heard of so far. And literally it could be somebody who showed up to work not in a good mood. Maldives is asking we leave voicemail, right? We can't take things personally, right, Edu?
Nope, we can't.
Has nothing to do with me. I'm here for Tigray. I'm here for my family. Has nothing to do with me. Hope your day gets better. Maldives says leave a voicemail. Please leave a voicemail. Make it personal. Anything from the chats on the outside, Edouard?
So people are saying a Twitter account and saying, can we do some sort of a Twitter campaign for it? Maybe Ma'azahate you can do on your end, where Facebook just telling them, please join us. I will do the same thing on Twitter standpoint as well. So people know we're here, we're live. That is the action item. That's the campaign. This is the campaign that we have. We can't really have another campaign anywhere else. This is it. So this is actually the easiest campaign we ever had, right? All you have to do is make a call. So please join us. I don't have anything else. I just see a lot of people saying we're sending a message. The Chancellor of Algeria I talked to, or let's keep trying. Good, thank you. Thank you, UMD. UMD is doing a wonderful job on, sending the phone numbers on their chat. So it's a little bit easier for people to keep track of as well. So thank you, everybody.
Perfect. If you're getting mailbox fulls, then we're doing great. But let's please keep it going. We are here for, at the very least, another hour. You'll see people coming in and switching out with other folks here at the virtual studio. We invite you to please text your friend groups, text your family groups, let them know there's a phone banking telethon happening for this last real push. You know what I realized, Edu, is all this time I thought it was myself and my partner, my husband, showing up to protest, and for our family, for our people. My little 3.5-year-old son is just always on me or in a stroller. And at the protest in New York in front of the UN building, Danny Dallas was there and just struck up this conversation with this 3.5-year-old. And before, he asked him just questions, and it was interesting to hear the answers, because he sees us doing these things and he needs to know why. And he talks to you about the bad man that needs to give food to the people. And he says, Tigray needs help now. And we were waiting for the person leading the protest. And my son admittedly likes microphones for sure, but, you know, loudspeakers, manamen. So Danny said, do you want to try? And before we knew it, we were being led on a protest down the walkway by a 3.5-year-old. And what I realized at that moment was, I may be doing it for Tigray, the grownups, we may be doing it for Tigray, but also we're doing it for our kids, showing them what it means to live the course, to walk the walk, what, you know, all these little cliche things, but eventually what it looks like to complete not just a task, but see something to completion. Did we advocate half of the time and then all of a sudden you don't hear about Tigray anymore? How does that translate into their lives? If they've gotten a chance to meet their grandmothers or their aunts and uncles, and suddenly we stop talking about them, how does that translate into these little bodies with big minds? That's kind of what the paradigm shift. So I'm doing it for our people, I'm doing it for myself, but I'm also doing it for this little guy who's watching us do it. Just wanted to share that.
Yeah. I'm one of the lucky ones who got to see that chant. You should just maybe we'll share it, you know, just to give you a little bit of hope. Yeah, I've known Helena's wonderful little boy Yo-Yo for a while now, you know, and he, you know, he's very, you know, whenever he says Tigray, it's always there's a hand up, you know, just this automated response. Like there's no but, what's, and ifs, you know, and he knows exactly. His mother, Helena, being, for those of you who don't know that face, well, we gotta talk, but she's been here from day one, and so he knows why she's doing it. Helena is like, Mama's working, you know, Mama's working for Tigray. So it's really important that we all need to understand when we say that this has a long impact. I truly mean that. I've been really concerned about, do we go back home? You know, do we get to go back home? Is that something in everybody's, do you ask that question to yourself, or do you even, or if you were traveling, I mean, or are you traveling now because you have the chance to travel, and since you see people traveling, that's why you're traveling? Or do you truly see yourself moving back home like some of us did probably in the past, and have to be forced to come back to another place that we call home, I guess now? But you know, do you feel that there's going to be a place for you to go back home to feel that energy that was there beforehand? I don't. That's what scares me, honestly. So, and then that means if I don't feel safe enough, or I'm not going to feel that energy that was there before, what does that mean for the kids? What does that mean for the future of people? Right, our futures, like Yo-Yo and everyone else that is having new kids, and you know, everyone who's wearing Mekunjara not war onesies, you know, what happens to those kids? You know, are they going to be able to actually truly say, I know Tigray? Or are they going to have to remember Tigray as not what we know, but what we have seen right now? So, or what we'll see, you know, when you have, it's amazing how, you know, killing and everything else that's happening is so normalized right now. Like that's not okay. Like I don't know how else to say that besides saying like that's not okay. It really is like one of those like common sense things. It's not okay to be acceptance of violations like this that takes away someone's freedom, someone's will, someone's you know, everything else that we stand for. So we're not speaking because I want to live in this apartment and I'm just doing it because I can do it. It really needs to be from standpoint of, do you see the future Tigray without holding those accountable for the crimes that have been committed, for everybody to feel safe enough to walk on the streets of Tigray, to feel safe enough to start their business, to feel safe enough that there's no fingers pointing at him or saying this person's from this region. That's what we need to understand. That's why it's important. The rest of Ethiopia may not be following us, but that is what ICRI stands for. And that's why I've been saying it has a long-term impact. So please don't dismiss it easily. It's not about politics. It really is about can we ask, can we feel Helena to take her little boy back home and for him to walk around on the streets safely and to just chant whenever he feels like a justice for Tigray, and there's no other things that could actually follow that. So that's all I wanted to say. So, yeah. So we have some people joining us, and right now, thank you for all of us that are kind of shuffling back and forth. So for those of you who are just joining us, thank you. Please continue to send these messages. Danny is joining us now. He just landed. As he promised, he will be here. He's here. For those of you who are getting Ukraine, says the number you dialed is not in service. So we'll find out why that is. I'll try to see if I can get another phone number for that. And for those of you, I see you guys on chats, let us know. Yes, thank you. Thank you to UMD, TMH, and also, of course, Cyber Tigray for giving us a platform and just today to block off a couple hours of your day to make sure everybody can participate. And so Embassy of Morocco is saying that the line is busy. However, they're saying, give us a phone number or your phone number, we can reach you back on. So please leave your phone number as well. And also you feel free to send a voice message. So that's that. And thank you, Sarah Hafteh. Sarah is really late on her time, but she is going to go to sleep and then wake up tomorrow and do it. So, but let's let her have her time on sleeping, because we all know the value of sleep, because some of us are not sleeping. So I know exactly who these people are. Danny, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're calling these numbers, as we've told you before. Welcome. I'm glad that your flight was safe. Please make the calls. Let us know any response that you're getting. Shawita, how are you doing? Let me see. Maaza Hafteh. I guess you can take the mic if you're not on somebody's call.
It's okay. Actually, one of the embassies called me back. It was very interesting. They called me back. They were really helpful. They were really nice. They're suggesting that we send an email, because although this embassies don't necessarily work on this issue directly, but the hope is you have to tell them, you understand they don't work on this issue directly. There is Foreign Affairs Division that handles this kind of issues, but you have to tell them that this is our way of ensuring that everyone is put on notice. They're supposed to share the information with their counterparts in the government, and you should also ask them, okay, it was very interesting that they called back. And there are countries like Ireland, Finland, and other countries who have historically taken a good stand on human rights issues. So also make sure to personalize your conversation with them and compliment them for their principled position that they have taken so far, and that you urge them to continue doing so by continuing to have a victim-centered approach towards justice and accountability. حدا إمباسي مليسهم دويلهم اللي نيرهم نعيا تأيوم زولوز قدايزي بزحات سواد دويلهم لنا نيرهم سمعنا نيرنا جن قدتنا عنا زمل كتيكونن أبزلنا يكوننا نسرحو وي أو هيد كوارترنا زلو وي للا أب جنيفا وي أب نيويورك زلو مسارحتنا أيوم سرحو وي لهم نديوم نجيرومني جن السو يرد أن يلكم ملسلمكم أن حري لهمكم يرد أن قدتاسخم زو قدايز خمزة سرحو جن نعاخم يزاروكم اللهم أنتي مستوم زمل كتم أكل وي كترحونا ويلا لبعلقاتكم تنهنا ملختي نعم كتحلفوا الناس اللي ندلينا إلكم ملسلهم كأود حار للا بستقالكم عقمي نتم تدور لهم عدثات of human rights زلوهم أقوام historical زوسدو وسقم تتطبقون حركوينو compliment ناقوركم وانت تخون تطبقوا that way they will be more interested to listen to you seriously. It will become more than just reading a script كأود زللا بدن engage يقور after conversation مالتي مو now كمني Ireland, Finland زول عدثات كدول انت لكم نأمنت you can tell them سكا حزياب human rights violations زلكم أقوام توصدوهم سقم تثاتا من العالم سواء مسالات نيدك ساعات نكحلة تقوروا ونقرات كلنا دنقنا حزون بتأقوم السوق تيلكم قبل على هزو تقراين كالوت نتهزي قاتاتن زوات تحزلو ونجلن بدلن كله تطون خبل فتحن خمت بعالم لخا حدو حرات منجستات تتعيشة قللتني زخون أتعري كوميتي عدم أنخنا وح نخط زكالكم نخط جورو زلكم دبلوماسية ركوات مس إثيوبيان قالوا تعدتات تدعمكم استوجدوا أكلة ما أخذ زجاجرة نايفت أنت تأيانتن سرح نخط صرف إنا نتأي لكم تتزاروا ومون تبع خون مالتيو ስለዚህ በቦት أخوينكم ترئنا زلكم بملؤكم حزن جورو زلنا إكري ولا لتعلم لخات أراي كوميتي عدم أنخنا وح سلكنا دولنا أبزاب أمريكا نزركونا استفلا لعدتات إمباسي إنا نا أفريقيا نا ميدل إيست نا يوروب زلو إمباستات بملؤمنا دولنا إنا نزارو زلنا نسخمون كلكم سلك قصر استتحيفوا لو سكرين كم تريوه سلك قصر سنة تتعونكم نادولكم تخيلكم كاولبكم تزارو كاولبكم كتزارو زخودكم ندحر كوين لا أبز سكريبت عميتنا لكم لنا السو كاستمايز ناقوركم أناقروهم tell them this is personal نعاقاتكم بعلهم بتي قد يسوز تحاسكم نايتستحاسي هزو أكال كم زخونكم بزعاسة أمسال كم تجنقوا قنا at the same time للا زين عدتات زيادة زلوون حيلي recognize غيركم حيلا تتغيمهم نزهان زيقاتات نمحلاي نخطق أمالو أرج تقوروون كم زلقهم جيزي خمزي بلنا تليلهم زلوهم دبلوماتيك تولوس تتغيمهم تيكري عدم أنكنا حنخو قورو أرج تقوروون كم زلقهم كنت يقوينا بزقات عم زينتيق حد جيزي خدولو تلقهم فويس ميل كتابني تقول يقوم أفتو فويس ميل ولا سمن حرزي العلوم ملقتكم قدفو تخيلكم أمود أتاسل قطرهم ونقاروهم my name is so and so بزعاز قد أي قزاروكم زدول زلقو لكم زرزر مسنبوكم له أمود أتا يغني لي if you have if you need further information on this or if you would like to talk to someone who is affected by this personally here is my phone number لكم ونقدفو لهم تخيلكم أفتي مود أتا if you feel comfortable to do that مالتي just to give it a human element سؤالك روبوت قال كنا نبزلنا سوا استقود أنا خمس قلنا نبرأي مالتي قال يعد لنا تاتخوينكم سوك العلويو سواء العلم نعنا يملكتنا نقال خلو insist that they listen to you although they may not directly work on this case but they have colleagues counterparts who work on this and so if they listen to your story then they have the obligation to share that story with those who are directly working on this case or you can also ask them to connect you with those who are working on this or give you their phone number and email addresses so we can also organize another round of phone call to those people to you.
I love that مازوا حق خي because especially خمسة عينة back to back خلنا ندول خلنا خمسة بالخير روبات منا من خينا مثل just genuinely in Morocco سب العلوم by the way أب حسبنا يخوم the earthquake من عملي له تزارب wow بتعمي خستايلو and I would think نسودان وني ناي بعلم crisis اللو زل علو سب I'm sure family اللوهم أب حقرهم سلزي yeah it would also as a human being I think now that we've seen for those of us who were not in the work like some of us here prior to the genocide it really opens your heart up to what people are going through as they're taking phone calls from us and others speaking up for their families I'm sure they're possibly calling other embassies speaking up for theirs or wishing that they had that so I really love that idea of connecting as a human being also salam khamil lakum لما أنت نزيلة دويلة and I also hope Natkhumuni family is doing well nothing too extensive and I especially really like the leaving that phone number in case I've been leaving my phone number but I will switch it to if you'd like to speak with someone who has been affected by this because again this is not just like a robotic call. Thank you so much. Yeah, voicemail, which is great. I'm as excited about leaving voicemails as I am about people picking up because it's also overwhelming. Voicemail check. It's like, oh, maybe call the person at the consulate or whomever and say, we just got a ton, flooded with these voicemails. And we will be on, and I think depending on Edua, you're really keeping great track of engagement outside of our virtual studio. We will be on for a little bit longer. We might cycle back to the first part of the alphabet, but I really would love for you to share through one of the streaming sites what you're experiencing, the way we've been sharing, what people have said to you. Even just let us know you're out there and you made a call. Just let us know, because all of the people you see here and the very many that you don't see here that have been working on this along with you, it can get a little lonely, feeling like the only people who are responding are those that are signing the petitions. And really want to take a moment, because my colleagues and family members here, before we started the call, someone said, how do we deal with the mental health effects of, God forbid if this does not go the way we want it to, as hard as we're all working? What does that look like? And I feel like Edu talked about it earlier when I mentioned my son and our little ones watching it. But as a community, we have dealt with and we're dealing with so very much. How do we deal with one more disappointment? And the truth is, we can't shield you from that. You can't shield yourself from that. But there is something about knowing you fought this till the end. If the end is it's extended, or forbid the end is it's not extended, you did your part until the very end. And that's what we're here doing today. Of course, there are thankfully, many mental health resources out there from different organizations. I can speak with the one that I'm affiliated with. There's an entire section of HPN for Tigray's website dedicated to that. We have an entire mental health and community wellness team dedicated to not only mental health in Tigray and Sudan, but also here in the diaspora. We know there's been cycles of, situations in our community, sadly. And all of us here on this call and across the organizations really advocate the need to really take care of yourself, because there is no advocacy if there's no you, if there is no health for you, in mental health, it all starts with that, because the mind informs the body and the body informs the mind. And so you're going into that circle. There's no way you can cheat yourself. But of course, today, we are really asking you, we're really, really pushing, we're making the big ask that take the time to do this for Tigray. You won't regret it. Really, for me, I would regret not doing this and wondering at the end, if Tigray is victorious in getting, and really Ethiopia is victorious in getting justice, and I didn't do my best till the very end, I would feel cheated, like I cheated myself. And if not, then I definitely would wonder for a long time if my voice would have counted. So I think it's best to side on that side of the coin. This will be a practice that will be pro your mental health, I would think. There's something really cathartic also about speaking with someone on the line when we've been shouting into the ether world, shouting into this internet and at these protests. You know what I mean? At least you know what I'm trying to say. So please take a moment and make these calls with us and share your experience of these calls with us.
I don't know if you got the Sudan extension. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used Zero, by the way. I used Zero and I was connected to the receptionist. So I talked to her and she took my number. She said the ambassador would very much love to talk to me. So I gave her my number. So I was sure to mention my sympathy and condolences for what happened, and expressed our gratitude on behalf of the refugees in Sudan. So I think that made it I think she felt comfortable to ask for a phone number. So
yeah, she did the same thing to me. She said she's in a meeting right now and that they want to call us back. So they have automated identification number, I think. So she said, this is what I see. Call you back with this number. So yes, definitely make sure that we are responding to what's happening. And we've been saying it. I think we've been very sympathetic type of people because we have to, right? It's the right thing to do. whatever is happening everywhere outside. We're not only saying, please respond to what's happening in Tigray. That was never our case. We never said that. But we always want to say that the people of Tigray, the case of Tigray genocide is part of the world as well. So it's not a separated case. We are part of this world. So that's why it requires an attention. So yeah, keep going, everybody. So
quick question.
Morning,
I'm on
Eden.
the phone with Sudan. Are we pressing for counselor services? For consulate services?
Just zero. Just speak to the receptionist.
Thank you.
And then I think 3 will come up. Somebody spoke before.
This is me, Danny. Hi, morning, everyone. I spoke with the counselor from Romania. They want us to send them info, so that was great. I connected with her. She's an amazing, nice lady. And I've put her email address on the chat. So she wants us to send her information. So let's keep going, you guys. Let's do it.
Thank you, Danny. And I feel like you're at the airport doing this thing, so we appreciate you. It's okay. It's okay. We'll buy you coffee. How about that? If that's what's required. So thank you, everybody. So they're really willing to go ahead and give us their email addresses. So a lot of our people here in the chats, they're sending email addresses for us. So we will use these email addresses, even though we have contacted them in the past with the mass emails that we've done from Call It a Genocide. But I want to make sure that we're being professional and respectful. We did speak with them, and they did offer us their email, so we're going to reply back and send an email. I see Mabel Haftana has joined us, and Agazi, welcome. We're very happy to see more people here. We're still making the calls. We might be able to shuffle back to the first numbers of the scripts or the first numbers of the embassies if we have done that. But I think most of us have gotten to the point of Sudan. I'm kind of calling a little bit slow. My apologies, but I am definitely going through all the list as well. Mabel Haftay, hi. You look great.
I don't know if I look great, but I'll take the compliment. Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah, you look great.
It is a Monday and I am exhausted and I'm doing my best, but I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for including me. And we spoke earlier and Helena said something that I thought was really important. We have to do everything we can until the very, very, very last minute, until we get the very last no and a possible yes. And so I am so grateful for this group of people. I'm so grateful for our community who continues to advocate. We're going on 3 years now that we've been experiencing this, and none of us have given up. A few of us have gotten exhausted and maybe taken a break and a nap, but we've not given up. We've continued to fight. And so I'm really happy to be here with all of you. And I'm making my phone calls, doing my job.
Thank you, Ma'abelua. I almost called her Housain. She knows. It's okay. It's what do you call it? It's amplified. It's implied. That's the word. I'm sorry. I used all my English for the past month and a half. I have no more left in me. So my apologies. But thank you, everybody. Azivina, how are you doing? How's the calls going?
Actually, I put in the chat. For Mexico, the lady was an amazing lady. I spoke to her. She was very attentive, gave me attention, and she gave me actually a direct person who would be sitting in the council, and that email is in the chat. So if you can just paste it and copy and paste for other people to send, which is the more the merrier email, would be great. But she said that would be the person. It's the ONUUSR. It's in the chat. You can do that. Thank you. Mexico was excellent. Thank you.
Right. That means we're all going on vacation to Mexico. We're all going. That says that are willing to speak to us. So yeah, Mexico's on me, everybody. Okay, thank you. Let me see who's Helena while you're off. Okay, go ahead. I'll go ahead and make my calls.
Well, no, the Sudan voicemail was full and I hung up. I didn't even get a chance to leave my phone number and she called me back. Yeah, and I said, wow, I'm so impressed and thank you. And I just kind of gave her the headline of why I'm calling, since I know you two ladies have spoken to her extensively. And she said, yes, we already have Maazi and Eden. Is that okay before you? And I said, I trust them implicitly. They're, you know, advocates in our community, but also people who've been affected. And I said, like me, and I quickly shared with her that my family and I, you know, during 84 Exodus, and our relationship to the refugee camps. And she was like, oh, wow, okay. And I said, now I'm here advocating for those who are in those very same camps. And she said, okay. And she took my number and we hung up the phone. Hi. I'm just getting a chance. Okay, she's on the phone. But yeah, really great. Pretty amazing how responsive they are. And again, I'm telling them this is about accountability and justice in Ethiopia, because without that investigative mechanism for Tigray, surely cannot mean peace for other parts of Ethiopia that are already facing human rights violations.
Thanks, Helena. Is the number for South Africa working for you guys? It didn't work for me.
That didn't work for me either. But I just connected with Qatar. Again, that person was sympathetic and at the reception desk, and I informed them, and they said they will pass on my message. So thank you.
Awesome.
For calling the Embassy of the State of Qatar from America in Washington, D.C.
Okay, I think we're changing the phone number for South Africa. Let's try this number and then see. I think that 202 number is not working. They probably changed it because of us. I'm just giving myself that much credit. Never mind. Okay, let's try this South Africa in DC.
If you know your party's extension number, please dial it now. For visa and consular service, please press 1. For ambassador's office, please press 2. For please hold while I try that extension.
You guys are doing a great job. All the responses I'm getting is, yeah, I've gotten a phone call about that today. Yep, I already spoke to someone about that today. You guys are awesome.
Then apologies about South Africa. There seems to be about 4 numbers for these for this embassy. So I have commented on the chat with another 202, which is a DC number. Hopefully that would work. The other one that I did share went straight to a voice message. So we'll see. Malawi's not working. So the second number goes to a voice message, but it does not make sense for me, as in they didn't say there's no introductory on it. We're gonna look. We're gonna ask our viewers as well. Do you have? Can you find us the phone number for South Africa? That would be great. Embassy in DC.
And if I just changed it on the presentation, Adua, if you wanted to refresh or.
Oh, shit.
I just put the 1953 number ending for South Africa.
I've gotten to the point that I don't know if I'm muted or not. It's becoming confusing. Okay, so the phone number.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Did we get? I think Ukraine. We did not. I believe somebody has commented in the past. I'm just looking at the chats on. It's not working.
It's disconnected. Their number doesn't work.
What for Ukraine?
Yeah.
Ukraine,
it's disconnected.
Is there another number that we didn't list? Maybe I don't see it in the chat. Also, can we call out?
And I'm not seeing it on the spreadsheet as having been changed for us from anyone who was given, but possibly as we make adjustments. What do you think about cycling to the first page for those of community members and allies joining for the first time, and then we can come back in and then wrap it up. But
okay.
Was anyone able to reach UAE?
Does the phone number work, Maza?
Yeah, there's a phone number for the United Arab Emirates. I just don't have it in me to call them. Just wondering if anyone has.
Let's see.
I'll give them a call. I haven't called Paraguay and I haven't called UAE, so I can call both.
Okay, let's see if it works. I think we should also try to get hold of the UK, because UK is the one country that is expected to put a resolution on the table. Some MPs are trying, so it would be good to increase the pressure on them.
right. So UAE is, UAE is not working in a way that you want it to work. It asks multiple ways, so it just keeps going in a loop. Like, so you press 2 for English, and then for non-UAE citizen, followed by, okay, I'll try that. I got to the point where it says all the way to the communication, but they said that we will not accept this request since this is only the communication channel. So Aiden has put another contact for us, 202-243-24444. So let's see that. Maybe we could use that one, and then if it works, because the 2400 is not. It's not like it's not working. It works, except it just goes in loops, which is annoying. Thank you, Dua. That works. That phone number works. At least it asks by name and also leave a voice message. So, okay. So they go ahead.
We have an email, direct email to the ambassador, as well as an extension. I just talked to the secretary, so we're good. Okay,
perfect. Thank you. We'll add it to the list, and then Danny, use the phone number that Edua has shared for the UAE, even though I know some of us have already spoken to them, but I just want to I want them to know it's not just one of us that's calling. Well, everybody's calling. Okay, and I think Helena was telling me to go back to the first list. Would that help everybody? I don't want to cut off some people who might be using this list.
I just first want to check if any one of us was able to speak to the UK. Yeah,
I kind of did. I spoke to the UK office. They took my information. They asked everyone to call and ask for the press office. Press 0 and ask for press. 0. And then they'll transfer you over.
Thanks.
Let me give, there's some questions. I don't see the email in the chat. Bats Bahate on UMD. We'll be sending an email once we're done calling. We just don't want to be distracted by or take time away from calling. We want to make sure that we're reaching these offices while they're still in the office. So let's continue to make calls and just keep track of any emails that you might be given. So that way later on when we're sending an email, we can have it. We will be sharing the list of email addresses as well with everybody who's helping us on live as well. So you can have it. Another question that came up was, okay, yeah, I think I did address that. Thank you, Edwa. Most European countries right now are, yes, so European countries, they are closed because it's already late, but please leave a voice message. It still is important when tomorrow morning when they come into the office, they can see or hear the voice messages. They're not going to be very happy about it, but it's great because again, I know multiple of us are calling, so that's okay. Another thing.
Also, Edane, so yes, it's late in Europe, but we're calling their embassies in Washington, D.C. AFZ, so it's not late for those who are in the D.C. office. So, Naga, when we try to call directly Foreign Affairs Office of each country in the European Union and the European Union continent, then we'll be mindful of the time difference. ولا نيروب عدتات امباسي كنت تدول وزلهم ابدي سي نزل اوفيسهم يو ابدي سي لا غنا لانش تايم يو حزي كاتريني سو اي تجنقوا بزعبا ساعات
ምንም ችግር የብሉን አብኡ yeah we are trying to send I think maybe this could be a good question. I think I'm not sure if this is Sam Gabru who said which countries did not support ICRI in the past. Ma'aza Hafte, would you like to mention that maybe? Yeah.
Just give me a second. I have screenshots of the votes so I can go through, but there are plenty of them.
And also what we have been doing is based off of the responses that we were getting in the past emails or this past 6 months or so. We have been estimating, I know Sarah Haftina has went to bed because it was Australia time for her, but there were some that we were trying to estimate, you know, what could happen, you know, voting yes or no, and the estimation in favor and abstain and against. So that list, Ma'aza Hafti, go ahead.
Yeah, I have it. So to reject Zgorwo, at least from the list I have, there is Eritrea, Gabon, India, Namibia, Pakistan, Philippines, Indonesia, Somalia, Venezuela. At least these are some of the countries that rejected it. Abstain Zgorwo, we have Sudan, Togo, Uzbekistan, we have Malawi, Mauritius, and Nepal. This is like at the beginning, but now we know for a fact the Ethiopian government has mobilized enough, not only for these countries, but even the US and other within the European Union pushing for transitional justice rather than increased mandate renewal. So I don't think we can solely depend on information from previous voting, routes, but it's important to continue pressing up. I would assume that the main reason why there isn't enough countries from Europe, even pushing for a resolution to be tabled is because most Africa عدتات يدقفوا أنزلوا أنزي. They're sticking to that mantra of, African solutions for African problems. So there isn't really enough support from African countries. And the US and other European country members are saying, Africa عدتات زغيم نجر كنجبر عين دلني ولله. So they're just using it as a cover, to justify their lack of political commitment to uphold their responsibility to protect and having a victim-centered approach to justice and accountability. So a lot of countries are choosing political reconciliation over justice and accountability, but as survivors, we know for a fact that there can never be a lasting peace or reconciliation without justice and accountability. That's why we're pushing this. So yeah, these are some of the numbers.
Thank you, Mazawa.
Yeah, and as it stands, from my resources and working on this, the only European country that might have a slight possibility of tabling a resolution is the UK, and that's thanks to some of the MPs at the UK Parliament who continue to voice their so we have to continue pushing them. So these MPs have enough leverage, while they go toe-to-toe with their colleagues at the Parliament. So we should push that.
And also, Maaza, while you're there, why is abstain? I know a lot of us are trying to get yes in this thing, but we may not get a yes in a lot of the state members to respond. But why is abstain important to us? For those of you who may not know, well, we know, but just for our viewers, if you can explain that in Tigray as well.
Why is it good or bad?
Why is that as good as
a thing for? Yeah. Go ahead, Helena.
Well,
no, I was saying I don't know, so I want to hear it too.
Okay.
I mean, this is a numbers game, right? So it's better to get abstain than a no. Abstain completely. Their votes won't count at all. So say, for example, you have like أربعة أشي and ثلاثة MB and then abstain it doesn't matter. It won't be taken into consideration. It's only the yes and no that will become tallied later on. So that's why it's important. Again, I just want to highlight and clarify for our community that we're not just pushing this embassy so they vote yes. We're pushing them so they table a resolution on voting it. As it stands, they may not even vote at all. So the plan, from what I heard, is to let the current mandate just lapse like it is, as it is. Minim kegorwo kau hada amet galamelet anihom. If things don't improve, haddish nagar kanat aishina zibil consensus yom hizam zankas also zolo, particularly the US and the European Union. So they're not even considering voting. So we don't even know. We really haven't gotten to the point where we tally the numbers and say, oh, this might vote yes, this might say no. So let's look at our chances. push كم seriously وسيدهم أو زود دايز نكراخري لحنت عدي زخون resolution ولا لحساب نفتته بالكتاب نتجلوا تناقي بري مانديت سقيلو بسوق بحاش ديسمبر مس أخلا تحز لو مانديت توديو بقى يبتني كان كي خيد حنت عدي أتليست أكتوبر 4 أوزر لجزي وشتي أكتوبر 10 حدا ديزود دات أخي وانا يود حبورات مجلسات أخي أو نيويورك زكايد زلو جنسكع دحرت صباح مالتي أوزر له عدي حنت هاجر ولا resolution after table كتقرر ولا وأبز good days خن زرارة ولا خن كرخارة لنا. So after one country brings that resolution to the table, then we will worry about how many yeses and how many no's do we have. As it stands, that's why it's really important that we act on time and quickly and reach out to all stakeholders on this matter, so we can at least convince one country to table a resolution to discuss the mandate malatu. So I wanted to clarify that. So malet manage بتخكلين يا زخانة تثبيتون من تكلين نايلة.
But I'm important to you. And you're right. In terms of abstaining, definitely the abstaining members are sending a message, because for most of us, it's a matter of human rights. So when you abstain, but I guess politically, they won't get in hot water with whomever they're trying to. It all, I'm seeing more than ever, it all has to do with Ganzab, of course, their political interests, their geopolitical moves, but trying to put a name and possibly faces to these numbers that they talk about. And that's what we're doing here with this phone banking telethon. I want to again thank everyone who's joining us, and especially those making the phone calls. If you're just joining, we've been, as a community, including our allies and really anybody who wants peace in Ethiopia, because if you set a precedent that the perpetrator can investigate their own crimes for Tigray, it goes without saying for the remaining parts of the country as well. So some of the things I've been saying during the call, outside of the great script here, when I feel called to speak from the heart, again, I also invite you to use especially just that first line, the first 2 lines, who you are and why you're calling. In case they need to transfer you, they're able to transfer you to the correct department. I do let them know, you know, those numbers belong to my family members. They're some of the people that are or have experienced those atrocities. And with the, you know, with certain countries, we know the roles that they have played within these human rights violations. And it's not too late to stand, as we see, on the right side of history, but also to do the right thing for the people. I'm thinking whom your bombs have completely decimated their lives or their livelihoods. But of course, I'm not saying that. But thanking everyone, really inviting you to engage on our streaming sites that we've partnered with, UMD Media, TMH, Tigray Media House, as well as Cyberpower Tigray. Thanking all three platforms and asking you individually to please share with your family group chats and work colleague chats and networks. Thank you so much. I see Friye Frueni. I hadn't scrolled over for a while, so I saw that you joined. Thank you so much for joining the call and making these calls. And I'm very sure you've shared in our family group as well. Everyone who's here, everyone who's virtually with us, like everyone has been mentioning in our virtual studio, they're saying, oh, I'm getting more calls. So this really matters. It really matters. The petitions we're signing, it really matters. No matter what the outcome, God willing, the outcome will be favorable to Ethiopia, to Tigray and Tigrayans. And I keep emphasizing Ethiopia because for these embassies, it is Tigray within Ethiopia. And the reality of it is, if there's no justice or accountability for Tigray, there is absolutely no peace for the entirety of Ethiopia. So it will be really good to really speak their language. It doesn't in any way put Tigray secondary. At this point, this is our Hail Mary. This is our very last push as the looming deadline. So thank you again for everyone who is making these calls. Edua, what do you think about heading back to the first half of the list, or whatever you think, as we have more people joining us than we had earlier? Oh, I see you're just getting off the phone. I know that look, I know that face. She is very focused. Are you back? Hey.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
No sorries needed. Hope you had a good call there. I was just wondering, where do you think? Should we cycle back to the first half of the alphabets, as we have new people joining us from the West Coast, and those of us who may have a couple more from that first list call?
Yeah, of course, we can do that. I just called to Lutania because I'm on the first list as well. I called that, and she said that the ambassador is out for today, but she's been getting calls. So she said, could you please email it? I am also her secretary, so I'll pass the email. Please just email her today, so that way she can have it by the time she comes tomorrow, is what she said. So I'm just sharing that. I will go back slide. Helena, is that
perfect? Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's providing in the chats the information they're getting. We'll be able to update phone numbers and email addresses so that we can tackle those emails hopefully immediately after this call. We're not going to be on here for too much longer, so really asking our community members and anyone joining us to make these calls to please engage. Now is the time. So as a couple of our folks here have said, there will never be another chance for this specific thing, and anything else more than likely will be watered down. So let's just, no matter where you think this is, if you think it's already no chance, or if you think it has a chance, let's just see this to the end. Let's see what we started to the end. Let's have our kids see us finishing what we started. And yeah.
Hello.
Abed.
It's Aziz. Hi.
Hi, Aziz.
I got a reply from British Council, and they said they received our letter, but it's no reply. Don't reply, but they acknowledge at least.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
All right.
So we just keep calling so that they know we're really, really serious. Thank you, everyone.
And on UAE, surprisingly, they answered the phone. Actually, I left a message. They called back, and I talked to her. I, told her about our story, and she said she gave me an email. I put it in the chat. You can, share it with other people as well. So I sent also an email to the person she directed me to email. So.
That's great. I found her really responsive as well. I even said, I know you're the gatekeeper. We're relying on you making these calls, my community and I, that you will really give that message in a very heartfelt way that it's meant, Yeah. Thank you, Azebwa. That's great news.
Also, there were some people that are, Maldives, someone called and they were asked, what organizations are you calling from? So again, if you don't have a specific type of organization that you are part of, Tagara organizations, you can just speak from the community standpoint. So wherever you might be located, because again, you are part of whatever state and whatever country that you live at, you are part of that community, and you're speaking on behalf of that community. So I hope that makes sense. Don't be afraid to say, what's happening to you really does matter, because again, what's happening to the people of Tigray back home is what's going to affect you on how you function or how you do anything in life, because you are connected to your roots. So again, you're speaking on behalf of your family, you're speaking on behalf of the community that you do reside in. So if you're not part of any organization for that matter, but yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and respond to that person who's been with us on UMD and really commenting a lot of good responses. And he just wanted to ask that question, which was, I think this is great.
And Edu, I don't want to interrupt, but I think it's even more powerful when you're not affiliated with an organization, really, that you are literally speaking for your family members, which essentially we all are. We just happen to be in organizations, right? So to that person, great. Don't feel like you should have been affiliated. Yes, I'm affiliated with a couple of organizations, but I'm really speaking up for my family members, honestly. And yeah, please feel free to
I was actually doing that too, Lena, because it maximizes our voice, because organizations have already been sending emails and everything, but also to put to that, you can also tell them, I'm just calling as a survivor, because we all are survivors, honestly, although we were not on the ground. But one way or another, our lives have been changed and affected by this, and not in a great way. So I was just telling them every time they ask me on whom behalf are you calling, I tell them I'm calling on behalf of myself, my family, and the millions of people in Tigray who do not have any way of reaching you. So this is not really an organizational issue; it's human rights, individual matter. More voices. تكالاتنا كلن دولة سديدانيين بزح سرح سريحانيين حزب توستقلله كم زيغاتات لله بعلتنا so بزحات كم زخلنا in politics number matters unfortunately, so I think this would maximize our number as well. مخهم متتقارنا تبوي مثلني
especially as you like in UAE. I mean بتعمي word نيرو because خصتا إليا نفلت إنا two roles أودخو I don't know why, but immediately she was like, yes, well, like she was very engaged, but she really admitted. And then, I was like, on behalf of أنا الزنبر خو بوتا أبتو كام زنبر وقلعت بخيوم أبسألم like in the darkness نعومي لإيه بزحنا دولنا لنا جن organize منا يخلنا حدا advocate maybe اللو but خلنا فاملينا إن affect خوينا نبعلينا family يزدو زلخو إليا, and especially I know مسفتهبي اللخي, so I hope is that as impassioned as like you can hear in my voice when I'm like, yeah, engage Gaira anyway. We do our best and we hope for the best how she gives the information, but it's really important to like you said, to just really keep in mind we as individuals calling for our families are very empowered and should feel empowered in our powerful voices. Let me get through this first list since I was multitasking at first, so I'm behind.
I think I've called pretty much
Any guys, just really wanting good news with Benin. I spoke with the counselor himself. He is wanting us to send him an email immediately. I put that in the chat. Please send that in. I have to leave you guys. I am about to get on my connecting flight. So have a great day, everyone.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Zahauna. Safe flight. Thank you for your efforts. This is the example of by any means necessary for Tigray. So thank you. Thank you for the good news about Benin. Safe flight, anyone. Every win counts. And a win for us today is being heard and being, like we keep saying, voices for those who are relying on us. If we don't speak up for them, who will? Including our families. So thank you. Anyone with any news about France? Any shares about France? Anyone in the virtual world? Any shares?
I have called France earlier, Azeboa, and I was able to just leave a voice message. But the problem was France, you have to wait for the French part of it to finish, and then they come back to the English aspect of it. Like there's a small weird break where you think it's disconnected, but it's not. But I was able to leave a voice message, so hopefully that's something. And I'm gonna check on the chat if somebody has already provided us another email, but I don't know if I see that. People were beating us on the first list because we were trying to do other things. Okay. With that being said, I think we are coming to the hour. As Helena said it, we're not going to be here all day, but what we're going to do is we're going to follow up with these emails. For those of you who are asking what are the emails, we will share that on the list as well, on that spreadsheet, I guess, because we want to give you a chance to send the email. Maybe Edu, before, oh, she's on the phone. We want to make sure that our next email, I don't know, we can make it from the heart. It could be just this script itself, it could be that. I don't know what you guys suggest our email should be, because our emails have been very from professional, diplomatic to everything else, right? So what should our email be to the follow-up of these phone calls and emails that we have received? I can leave it to you guys, and we don't have to provide you any type of template, but I'll be happy to hear it from our team here. How do you think we should address to these emails? So that way it's not too much of a work, but it's really is what we're saying is we're on the last hour. We have less than, what do you have? Less than 48 hours-ish. I guess that's what we are right now, last minute. But this is good. I'm very proud of everybody for not giving up, and despite of all the no's we're getting, despite of why you even trying to make things happen out of thin air, because it matters, it counts. You can pay attention to us, you can dismiss us, but we were here to remind you of this, and your actions have consequences, and that's why we're doing it. So Azhafte or Helena, how do you guys proceed? We should send these emails. We have about 10-15 minutes, and for everyone else, please share this video so then other people can watch it at home and continue to do so. It's not over, the day's not over. We just wanted to give you a chance to do this with us today, but it doesn't mean once this live is over, all right? We want to get it, we want to keep sending these calls. Thank you.
I think people can just adjust this script and turn it into an email. It's very short, precise, to the point. It has all the important ነገራት ውስጡ ስለዘለዎ ዛውዝኒ አን ስልክ ያኔራ, but you can change it into an email. So for example, you can say, you know, dear so-and-so, my name is Akala. I am writing to bring your attention to the need galamela. Zias now email مغيار تزغللي مثلني. Instead of drafting a new one or sending them a very lengthy one, I think we could just adjust this, make it an email and send it. That's what I've been doing so far. Because I'm sure all these embassies and, you know, their respective organizations within the government have been getting tons and tons of reports, including the ICRI's recent report to Malati. So we don't really need to repeat everything they know, but sending them this makes it like more personally goro. And then those of you who can draft your own email, make sure to include your personal story. For example, I know whenever I send an email, I talk about the family members I have lost, how this has impacted me as a Tigrayan living in the diaspora, although I'm not on the ground, just to highlight the impact of the conflict and how it has destroyed every civilian's livelihood. You can just simply change this into an email and send it. It will literally take you 2 minutes.
Agreed. I think that's really everything that you said. For those people who are able to draft, to share those personal voices, and those who can, like Maza said, just use this script, they're both going to be equally as powerful. For those who can draft their own, please don't cop out because this is available, because that personal voice is also something. To see several saying, hello, my name is so-and-so, and then to come into, I'm one of the survivors of the Tigray genocide or the human rights abuse. You know, a good mix will make it a really good pot. So please do what you know you can. It's worth a little bit additional effort, I would say. So I will definitely be mixing and matching, pulling from here and just a little bit about mine and my family's personal experience. And then where shall we make it accessible? Or besides sending it to, yeah, how should we do that, gang?
Maybe we can just add it to our websites like we've done the other campaigns before. So all of our websites have it, and whatever organization people are comfortable with, they can just go to the same one and find it there.
I love that.
Like we've done the past ones.
Yeah, and then is it easy for said organizations to incorporate it? Like I know the Call It a Genocide, I know Tigray Action Committee, you know, even Omna has had those platforms. Is it easy to plug in?
Well, for us, it is. At Tigray Action Committee, it has been. And so we can definitely add it on. I would believe it is for everyone else as well, because we've done this before. I would imagine so.
Is it something that we can commit to having today?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So whoever has it ready today will be pushing, but like you said, it would be great to push for everyone who has these platforms to do it. Thank you. Thank you for committing to that.
Yeah, so since we have Ma'abel here, why don't we just once they put it on their website, we can just circulate that so people are not confused trying to go to every organization's website. Just to make it easy.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Right, you're up.
I'll work on it now.
I'll take over your list. I'll take over your call list. Then you just. Thank you. Good call, Maza. So it's.
And then we'll share it on all group chats. Like, don't depend on people going only to websites. Please, whoever got a hold of the link once it's up on Tigray Action Committee's website, please be sure to share it with whatever Facebook group chat, WhatsApp, Signal, whatever you have, to share it everywhere and take it up on yourself really to do the campaign, to mobilize people into taking action.
Absolutely. We're about 3 minutes before the hour. What are thoughts? Should we start wrapping up? Should we maybe share some final thoughts? Should we keep it going for about 15 more minutes? What are your thoughts?
I just wanted to mention, since we're talking about organizations, I know that each one of our organizations are working on different fundraisers, different projects, different things, and we really need our community to step up and support us. All of our organizations are heavily involved on ensuring that Tagadu survive this, continue to survive this, and that there is a future for all of us. And so please support your organizations, support us. We need it. TAC, we need urgent funds for our feeding centers. We're really concerned about running out of money to feed the 550 women and children that we feed every day. I know that Omna is working on, currently has a fundraiser right now. If anybody wants to talk a little bit more about that. HPN always has so much stuff that's going on. So Legacy Tigray, all of us have really, really important projects that we're currently working on. We need our community to support us. So please continue to do that. And if anybody wants to talk about what their organization is working on right now, that'd be good.
I love that. Anybody wants to go before I chime in for HPN?
Go ahead. I'll go after you.
No, you go. No, please. Megdardar,
One
please.
of you go, please.
It's our culture, you know, you got to give us a second. Ma'azawa, please go ahead.
Thank you. أمنا تግራይ ንሬፊጂስ ኣብ ካልኡ ዝተፈላለዩ ካምፕታት ኣብ ጅቡቲ ተሓዊሱን ንኣይዲፒ ዘለውን እግሪ መትከል ዝኾን ናይ ሪሶርስ ሞቢላይዜሽን ስራሕ ይሰርሕ ኣሎ ሶ ናብ ኦምና ትግራይ ዶት ኦርግ እንድሕር ከይድኩም ኣብቲ ዌብሳይት ኩሉ ሓበሬታ ክትግንይዎ ትኽእሉ ኢኹም ኣብ ቀረባ ግዜ ኣብ ዲኤምቪ ኤርያ ባርቤኪዩ ክነዘጋጅና ነርና ግን ተኣየር ኩነታት ፅቡቅ ስለ ዘይነበረ ካንስል ጌርናዮ ተመሳሳሊ ኢቨንት ክህሉ እዩ ኣስመላሽ ግራንት ፋውንዴሽን is also trying to send medical equipment to Tigray container ልዕሊ $350,000 ዋጋ ዘለዎ ኣቑሑት ክሰድድ እዩ ንዑ መስተዲ ዝኸውን ቅርሺ እውን የድልዮም So now asmalashgrantfoundation.org you can find that. These are the two initiatives I know of in addition to what TAC does, Hidrina, and other organizations do malati. So بزغالكم وهاو تقيلكم نهنا محورس I understand you know resources are very limited and we have been given more than what we have. So if you have like friends you know who are not from Tigray try to use your network and connections to mobilize resources to empower Tigray indirectly. So if you're a good grant writer and reach out to any of these organizations so you can provide that technical support, you know. If you know how to write proposals, like if you're a professional fundraiser, like, you know, just make a good use of your expertise and your skills to mobilize resources outside of our community because the need is really humongous. You know, HPN took the initiative, mobilized a lot of money for them, but even that is not enough. Like I talk to Dr. Kovram on daily basis. He tells me the amount of, you know, doctors that they're living on, losing on daily basis because تيوم دكاتر دكم كقولوا أي قولن مسارحتات اللو جنت ولا شيء يوم solution يولو من كل منهم كجور أي قولن زلوا so it's only us who you know have been there for Tigray but now it might be a time where we do not continue to be there only بعلتنا but also tap onto other resources to maximize the kind of help we can send in عندنا مستقلة لorganizationات initiative business جورو سراحنا محجاز بقشة راح زي كونه بمواياكم لا so if you're تطبقنا مصحف كلا تهليكم تطبق storytelling skills تهليكم videography photographs whatever skill you have please put that into good use and reach out to any of the organizations. I guarantee you whatever contribution you make through any organization will end up benefiting the people of Tigray one way or another so please continue to do that.
Perfectly said. Well, we have to get into sustainable mode of operating and since we're all from the same pot and it is really imperative to Maz's point to be able to diversify and like she mentioned and like Ma'abel mentioned we are still fundraising so appreciative for everyone who is somehow making it work. You're contributing here and you're contributing there. So none of this could be done without you. I really, in the most heartfelt way, really on behalf of all of us and especially HPN for Tigray, want to thank you. It's really lovely to see people have found their organization and there are some people who contribute a little bit everywhere, but we're making it work. In terms of HPN for Tigray, as you know, we're made up of health professionals and non-health professionals. So volunteering is always the first thing, the first call to action. Really, we have programs like resource mobilization and medical services, mental health and community wellness, research policy, you know, health policy. Communications, you know, if you're social media and communications guru, we need you. If you need internships, we have that platform built out and ready to receive that and to support you in that. In terms of fundraisers, we have ongoing fundraising, but really we're at the point where we are focusing on sustaining all the programs both in Tigray and Sudan, supporting Tigrayans that are affected by this devastation. All the other work that we do that are inclined towards the diaspora, that's just all of us galvanizing resources and being there for our community as well. As you may or may not know, we support all the mental health, all the health professionals, including mental health professionals within Tigray, because we know we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So things like mental health support, training, providing resources, but also nutritional programs that help feed lactating mothers and infants, really dealing with the mortality situation there, with the maternal mortality that, as Maza mentioned, doctors like Dr. Kubrom and Dr. Haile Selassie, Dr. Fasika, and all of them write these research papers about and speak to our community about, in terms of refugee camps within Tigray, within Sudan. Hopefully, you know by now, we have ongoing mental health support that we've been providing for both adults and children. So that takes money, that takes funding that a lot of times comes out of sustaining member. So we ask you to become a sustaining member. So if you go to hpn.org/donate, a word we don't really like to use, but for clarity's sake, because we don't donate to our own families, Dr. Rashan says, right? We contribute, we galvanize, we support, but for the sake of being straightforward, /donate, you can go there, become a sustaining member. $50 a month, $20 a month, $100, $10,000 a month. I don't know. I don't know who's listening, but just putting it out there. Whatever we can do, because what you're doing is perfect and it really counts. It really, really counts.
Bye. Can I say something? I'm not sure if my Wi-Fi is working. Is it working? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was like, is it me? Okay, sorry. I just wanted to say something. So I just came back from Tigray. I was there in August. And while I was there, they were aware of all of our organizations, every single one of them. They're aware of all the work the diaspora is doing. They are thankful for the work that we are doing. And so when you are supporting and donating to these organizations, you are supporting directly to our families, to your family, to Hizbana. It's not just random, you know, the money is not going to admin costs. It's not going to blah, blah, blah. It is going directly to the people in Tigray. Tigray Action Committee, I mentioned earlier. We have 4 feeding centers in Tigray. We are in Shire, we are in Maqalla, we're in Hausen, and we're in Azagrat. These are areas that have either very, very large IDP centers or people who just really have no access or resource to anything. And so being able to feed a mother and her child is a big deal, especially in these areas. I went to all of these places. I went all over Tigray and I saw a lot and I spoke to a lot of people. People are starving and they're begging for food. WFP and USAID is not back yet and people are really, really in dire need of food. It's not a joke. As soon as you leave Maqalla, you see it. You see it in Maqalla too. You see it everywhere. So please continue donating. Please continue supporting because you are supporting yourself. You're not supporting, you know, strangers, Tzarut Franji, you're supporting yourself, you know? So I think it's really, really important to remember the work that our organizations are doing, but to remember that the work is for you and your people. It's not for anybody random. It's not some thing that you see on TV and you see malnutrition children. It's your family. So please continue supporting us. We need it so, so badly, like really bad. So please hear us. We need your help. But anyway, thank you.
I think, Edouard, you had your hand up earlier. You can go ahead. And then we'll end.
Yeah, hi everybody, great work. This has been an amazing effort and I'm just so proud of even the last minute effort we're making. It means a lot. So I wanted to say thank you for organizing it. But alongside what Ma'abel and Maza said, I also wanted to share a website here. Edo, I can send you the link and you can maybe put it on screen share. But there are different ways of helping our people, right? While we're pushing for this mandate, we can also look into supporting our refugees who are in Sudan that migrated due to this war. So it's called, I'm sure everyone have heard about it already. Perhaps if you haven't, it's called the Welcome Corps program that the State Department is utilizing to assist refugees. And it's involving our community members to participate fully. There are 2 phases to it, phase 1 and phase 2. It's in the chat, Edouard. the website is. And so through phase 1, it's the State Department or PRM is the one that assigns a group of sponsors from our communities to sponsor a given a newcomer to sponsor within 90 days. And then after that, within that 90 days, you're showing them the different services that there are put in place. So it's not a long-term commitment, but I feel that this kind of fell in our lap, especially with what we're going through. So if you have any questions, you can write them here, or you can also reach out to ECDC in Arlington headquarters, and being able to get answers that you need. I am one of the people that's supporting with these calls as well. So if you have any questions, if you'd like us to come into a Zoom meeting and being able to give you step-by-step what needs to get done and what you need to do as a community, I'm more than happy to do it, and my colleagues are. So please, let's utilize this opportunity that just showed up when we're feeling desperate. Things are coming into us and we're seeing this. So phase 2 is where you're identifying the family member or the friend that you know, being able to say, okay, I have a group, I have the required financial commitment that's needed to sponsor, and it's 90 days, like I said, it's 90 days, and there's all the support that you need within the different organizations to help you and direct you where to go. So, and if you have any questions, like I said, I am at ECDC. There are other colleagues that can help you, and I'm also more than happy to come into a space and give a little bit of direction into what we need to do. But this is the simplest thing we can do. At least we have control over this. So, Ayyuhum, thank you for including me in this calls. It's been fun, and I hope we get the result we need and we want. And
I want to take you up on your offer, Adinji, because I myself and my family have been trying to fill out that application, and so maybe it would be great to have spaces. Maybe we can speak with Legacy and see what we can do there. I know, like you said, ECDC has done a webinar, but it's just really complicated. But Edu, I want to make sure you have something to say before we close out.
Yeah, I think we're done. I'm not going to ask anyone else to do anything more. I promise. Only maybe Tigrai, because that's what I do right now. But I just always ask yourself, are you doing what you need to do, what you can do to help the people that you believe that does need the help? That's it. Are you being productive? Are you being mindful about what you're doing, your spending? So that's all, because every other organization is doing a wonderful job. We can't wait for the international world to respond to us. We cannot wait for the international world to give food to our people. We really can't, because that's not how it works. So what everybody's doing right now is important. So are you doing what you can do? It does not mean you have to help every single organization. It just means, are you being consistent? Are you being persistent? Are you being mindful of your spending, and you're being true to what it is that you're hoping? If you are in Tigray, would you want the same thing to be done for you? Yes, you probably do. So are you doing that for your people? Thank you, everybody. Tigrai is almost there. 48 hours to go. So we will wait for you to let us know when this email is ready. And then there we go. And until we get spammed, which is, wonderful way of saying you did the job. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, UMD. Thank you to Image. Thank you, Cyber Tigray, for giving us a chance to be here on Monday morning. I think this is a wonderful way to start your Monday for the week. I believe it's being productive and not calling it. We're not even tired. I'm not tired. I thought we were going to be exhausted, but I don't feel tired at all. But thank you, everyone. We will see you on social media, everywhere else.
Thank you, Edgar. Everyone, thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.